Okay, everybody, here we are. Losers bracket final. Actually, we're not quite in the losers bracket final, but in the game before that. We got Tumor Spider Queen as our map. And, well, as you can see, it's another best of 7, by the way. So we have another best of 7 here. And we got Ugly Gary going up against Nothing Else to Do. So we are still in the Skyline Cup. Still Taiwanese, Chinese, and Korean players going at each other. And so far, we had some really, really nice games. We had a lot of 5-mappers. We had a lot of games that went the full distance. We had a couple of insane comebacks, too. So it's actually pretty impressive. And now we're also down to the last 4 teams, so the level of play has definitely risen. Every time we are in a different region, the comments that mainly appear on YouTube are always like, "Oh my god, the meta is so different." Like, no, it's not really. You're just watching shitty teams in the first round play against good teams. And yeah, there are obviously meta differences, don't get me wrong. We even here saw, for example, Suljin pop up every now and then. But when, you know, these real crazy picks are happening, they're not happening because the meta is completely different to the extent where you see like Cho'Galls, Murkies and whatnot. But it's just teams that are not on the same level play against teams that are a little bit more experienced there. But there are certain twists. We had a fair amount of Suljins. There were also a few pick and ban priorities that are very different from what we're seeing in the West. And even on the talent side, we had some adjustments being made. But now that we're down to the final 4, things are a little bit different. So we get the Haka as a first pick again on Tomb of the Spider Queen here. Vala banned out. It's actually a little bit sad that she gets banned out this much. Would have loved for her to be picked a little bit more. But as with the Koreans when they came to the Heroes International in Miami, she is a high priority for them. So is Lucio here. So Lucio and Leoric, yeah. The Leoric priority that we have on the server, on the Asia server, is just nuts. They really, really love Leoric. And I was told by one of the admins that a lot of the top teams, they don't really know how to play Blaze, in the sense that they don't know how to play with him and around him. So that's one of the reasons why Blaze doesn't have such a high priority as he normally has in the Western and even the Korean meta. But they all love Leoric and what he brings to the table. And obviously there's nothing wrong with Leoric. He's a fantastic side laner. He's great. He brings everything that you really need here. But that Blaze dropped this heavily in priority compared to what we normally see, it's just bonkers. But we have 1 or 2 teams that are playing quite a bit of Blaze, so still exists. Should still be an interesting one here. And yeah, again, quick reminder, this is a best of 7. So we had a lot of games where it was a little bit confusing, but apparently they have all the final 4 matches best of 7s, which is kind of nuts. But since they are spreading this out a little bit more and having now, I want to say 1 map or 1 match a week, and like, I don't know, I honestly, the schedule is a little bit fluid, let's put it like that. I expected more games to happen this weekend, but apparently that's not the case. But yeah, so Alarak, we've seen him a few times. Most of the time when Alarak was played, though, he was played with an additional stun hero. What they did is just stun Alarak combo and go for it. Not so much in this one. Alarak gets banned out again, and we get a Greybane. Okay, so they're getting a bit aggressive over here. I like it. Sylvana, Strega. I mean, there's a couple of elements that we find in the Western draft too. I'm curious what we are now getting. Oh, and Gul'dan. Alright, so yeah, they're reaching deep into their box right now. Okay. I'm actually interested to see what the tank is going to be here. I mean, we got a Nubarak that was played a fair amount. We have Garrosh still available. What else are they going to pick here? There's heavy bans towards the tanks once again. 3 banned out, 3 of the main tanks, and now picks for the blue team, and they are the one that lock in Nubarak together with Genji. So this time we don't have the combo with Anduin for a light bomb, but we still have the aggression that can come from the 2 together. And last but not least, as we are starting into the best of 7 series here at the losers bracket, there's 4,000 on the line. Ooh, and we get a good Varian. So Varian, no stun follow-up, but I guess it can still drop the bullet and a bit of extra damage, maybe even Horrify. So with that, we head into Tomb of Spider Queen, map number 1, the best of 7. Let's check it out. And here we are, game number 1. The show has started. The best of 7, everybody. Let's see which team takes the lead here. On the blue team side towards the left on Tomb of the Spider Queen, our first map, we got Genji and Nuburak. So they are going for some dive. We got Dehaka, Sylvanas, and we got Riga. With Genji and Nuburak, you can dive pretty hard. You can't dive quite as much as Ronaldo, but it's still a very good dive combo that usually yields results. On the right side of the map, we got Varian, we got Lucio, and we have Greymane Gul'dan for damage once that Varian drops the taunt. And Leoric on the side lane, as always, here on the server with the Austin's renewal. Gul'dan is going for what we call in professional circles a Saki build, because he's coming in with the chaotic energy on level 1. We've already seen that in one of the previous games, and it actually won them the game. Contributed quite a bit. Oh, those stuns though. Bye Gul'dan. Now that's a quick kill right there. And Nuburak with a perfect flank dive. And then this is happening. So first blood already locked in blue team, starting us off well. We got the agile dismount here for Genji. And Nuburak with another attempt to make a play for Leoric, which has not worked out. But still, they pressure him back a bit. And now they are controlling a rotation between the mid and the bot lane, apparently aiming for early siege giants. So that's exactly what they're going for right now. I mean, normally this is playing out a little bit different on the map. Traditionally, what you would see, there's more of a rotation between the mid and the top lane, and then the solo laner trying to do their thing at the bottom and sneak that in with a few heroes rotating over to help them out here. But they really prioritize that highly, whereas the red team is making a play for their own mercenary camps over on the right side of the map. So they're currently trying to make a play for the Bruiser camp, which Nuburak is sniffing out. Don't really think that he is going to be able to slow that down. Obviously, he's not going to try and contest it. But the blue team has now also responded in kind on the left side and is currently trying to make a play right there. Yeah, in the middle of the map, Nuburak already attempting to at least get a stun or two connected and slow this down so that they can their own camp in the action. But not really a whole lot happening there just yet. But obviously, as you can tell, we have, after this early kill, we have now just a little bit of a back and forth between the two teams here in the early stages. Nothing too crazy. Taunt is now in. That's really when the threat level of the red team is going a lot higher. And look at that, the Juke Master 2000, nicely done. Gul'dan jukes away as Nuburak is trying to make a play and get the stun connected. I like it. Well done. Now the interesting part here is really going to be how Ugly Gary is going to perform, because they surprised a lot. They were also the ones that took down Luna Meow, which was pretty impressive, but Gul'dan is not having a good day. Everybody wants a piece of him. First we have Nuburak making a move, but then it's Genji who takes him down, and Varian is also in a bit of trouble, as Leoric is now realizing that he might be needed in the mid lane and is attempting to help them out, but he's a bit too late here. So, yeah, it's a very aggressive first game. Nothing else to do. They are sitting there and they're like, well guys, let's go for it. Let's try and drop them. And they had a good tournament so far, generally speaking. But they were also a little bit lucky in some of their games, because they had a free win in their last round in the losers bracket, since Crystal Blade Star did not show up. In the winner bracket, on the other hand, they were the ones that went up against Please Don't Ban Malthael, aka Team Marcel, and they barely missed out on a victory there. It was such a close series, but on the final map they lost, and well, that's all she wrote. They were sent down into the losers bracket, but as you can see, they definitely want to continue. So they're making the red team's life quite difficult here. But they will have to bring it onto the late game too, and that's usually where we have Ugly Gary shining quite a bit. Gul'dan also getting his stacks together on level 1. Both teams now trying to turn in, and especially the red team is doing a little bit better here. And there it is! Yep, Genji barely able to move out of harm's way after the taunt connected, and he nearly got blown up here. And this is of course going to get even more dangerous once that we have the Horrify. Yeah, once the Gul'dan comes in with that, it's going to be a bit tricky. We got the Feeding Frenzy here on level 7. We also got the Lost Soul. And we have for Gul'dan the Curse of Exhaustion. Yeah, Saki build nearly completed. And he's going to go full drain. Whereas on level 7 we now got the good vibrations here for Lucio. So, the stage is set. First Web Weavers can also be summoned if the teams are able to turn in, and both of them are trying to deliver. Leo has the entire bot lane to himself. The blue team is looking for another kill. I don't think they can get it here, which means that Leo has a lot of time space. Ah, the drag. Yeah, Varian is safe, but that was a problem. Nice connect though with the taunt, and that's a kill on Rhaegar. Yeah, dog eats dog as we have Greymane coming in for the kill, and oh boy, this is just blow for blow here. But they're still trying to turn in, and it seems that at least the Haka is going to get rid of the gems. If Wild Hunt turns into this... Oh, nice! Another kill! Nuburak got wrecked here, and the blue team has not completed their turn-ins. Now it's time for the red team to shine. They get the first Web Weaver wave. But this is actually looking... I mean, this is a fun start into the game, not gonna lie here. Yeah, this is pretty sexy. A lot of kills, a lot of action. Everybody trying to go for a quick move to try and make a play here. So, yeah, me likey. Another move straight through the middle of the map now as they're trying to soften the wall up a bit for the Web Weavers. And they are also slightly ahead in experience. Now, that could easily play a role as the game continues, because if you get that early level 10, that would be the dream. But not if you lose your Lucio this early. Now, Leoric is still at the bottom of the map and doing his thing here, but everybody else is still struggling a little bit. In the middle and up at the top, the Web Weavers are still doing work, but they're looking for kills and they're going to get another one. Gul'dan is dead again. Reported for feeding, baby. He doesn't have a lot here. This is a little bit nasty. Now the wall at the bot lane has been lost. There's damage on the fort. It isn't too shabby. I mean, that's half of the hit points gone. And to be honest, that's a decent amount of damage considering that it didn't only happen down here at the bottom of the map, but also at the top. I think Leo just committed suicide. Yeah, I have no idea what that entomb was supposed to do. So, yeah. One for the gallery, I guess. At the top, though, that's a kill. Sylvanas gets wrecked. Difference is that one team just lost 16 gems, and the other one didn't. Spoiler alert, it was the red team. But the fights continue. So the walls have all been opened up. 2 of the forts have been reduced to 50% HP. Rhaegar is still threatening Bloodlust. Yeah, that would be kind of fun, but he's not going to go for it, no. We're not going to get Bloodlust here. Genji realized that he nearly made a mistake, but he's still fine. He has 28 gems. And of course the blue team would love to turn in. There's the taunt. They're trying to annoy the beetle a bit. Can you annoy a beetle? Is that actually... Oh my god, look at this mount! God, this is so epic! It's incredibly epic and probably really rare. What a fantastic mount. I mean, congratulations. Probably took a lot for him to get that beauty. I mean, damn son, what an epic and rare mount. Yeah, woo! I wish I had that mount. 6 kills to 3, and here's the play from the blue team. Oh, the dive! But Nuburak is fine. Well, maybe not. Gets blown to pieces. That was actually well done. They're diving in hard for Gul'dan to take him down, and Nuburak was nearly able to make it work, but then there comes the kill. And now what turned from, hey, we're going to push aggressively with this Web Weaver wave, turned very quickly into like, let's see if we can actually do some damage here. That's not going to be easy. Without your dive tank, that's going to be pretty rough. So, yeah, mid lane got defended pretty alright. Top lane too, they're already still pushing in the middle, and down at the bottom of the map, Leoric has defeated the Web Weavers as well. Yeah, things are looking good for them. Things are looking very, very good for Ugly. Well, very good in the sense that they were able to do much better with the first objective. They also got a kill now. Let's not overdo it here. It's still even talents and even experience for the 2 teams. So yeah, I'm overselling this a little bit, but just a little. It was a great defense. If he survives there, that would have been amazing. I mean, collect the gems, boys. I don't know why they didn't go in and collect those, but yeah, here comes the Entomb. I don't think that's going to be a counter kill. They're just trying to save Greymane, but yeah, everybody's still fine. Everybody is still fresh, but that was still a good kill. But Genji cut it very close here. That could have backfired, and he knows it too. They get the second turn in though, so things are starting to tilt a little bit in favor of nothing else to do. Yeah, they're looking really good here with the second turn in. The first one didn't do quite as much as they probably hoped for, but they can definitely rectify that now. As long as they keep pushing their small advantage. This is really where we're going to also see how well Ugly Gary can defend. Because if they're able to defend now once again pretty well, then a lot of gems were used by the blue team for not much gain. And it seems like they're just letting the bot lane go. So top lane already about to be defended by Greymane. Middle of the map, they've done the job. And now, yeah, it's more the bot lane that they have to pay some attention to. Leo should not really go too deep here. Gul'dan is already taking care of it too. The wave clear that he obviously brings is still kind of nice. I mean, yes, he did go for the build, for the drain build that we've seen now a few times. But still able to do some work down here and taking those web weavers down without losing too much on the keep side. So for the blue team, I'm a little bit torn. I mean, it's the second turn in. You want to get a bit more than only one fort. And Genji needs to be very careful when he dives in and tries to whittle the hit points down a bit. If he oversteps and is there for just a second too long, then you all know what's going to happen. He's going to be murdered by Varian with a nice taunt there. But yeah. Okay. So 7 kills to 4 on the kill side. It's kind of funny actually. Nothing else to do is a bit better there. That doesn't surprise that much. With Varian, obviously, you're looking for kills, and the comp that they are playing is really designed to get some. But then you have a Nuburak for dive and Genji on the other side, so it's also a very aggressive combination. And since good old Gul'dan is on the receiving end, he had some trouble there. He just doesn't have the mobility. The mobility creep in Heroes of the Storm really made things a bit dangerous for a lot of the mages, and one of the reasons why you're also not seeing a lot of Kel'Thas these days. And Gul'dan is experiencing it now. Yeah, Horrify came out just before the Cocoon came in, but I still think that Gul'dan is probably going to be dead. Yeah, and he's not the only one. Gul'dan is down and so is Varian. Varian is dead. The Ancestral saved Sylvanas. And boy, oh boy, this is starting to snowball a little bit. At this point, with Sylvanas and a 5 versus 3 situation on the map, you can go for structures and take him down. And that is exactly what the blue team is doing. So they're dropping the fort in the middle. Nuburak, again, not really a fan of the talent. This is a pretty shit one. This is honestly, outside of very, very few occasions, a total noob trap. I have no idea why he's taking this one. I really don't get it. I know there's going to be all those theory crafters again. It's like, you don't understand. If he hits Gul'dan, then, oh my god. You know what's happening as well? If he hits Gul'dan with a stun, Gul'dan dies. And if you look at the damage here, yeah, 25,000, compare that to what we're having on this side. And the 4 deaths, you don't need debilitation. So, yeah, debilitation is pretty much an absolute garbage talent. I mean, even that is still something I want to see in action. But after talking to Nagrom a little bit, the one case that I can really see is trying to shut Diablo down with the debilitation. That's the only real thing. Nagrom made a really good case for it when we just like talked about stuff a bit. And Diablo being such a high focus at the Heroes International, for example, in the Korean meta as well. That's one of the things where I can see it. Here, definitely not. Nope. That one only deserves one thing, and that is... Nope. Exactly that. Okay, but there's another turn in. This is the 3rd one in a row now for the blue team, and you can't argue with the lead that they have. So they have, before 16, done a great job here. They've removed all of the outer structures. They suffered a bit with the first turn in for the red team, but now that they're continuously denying a turn into them, things are, of course, going way better. And it's starting to become a little bit of a catch-up game for Ugly Gary, since they're now trailing in experience, which is a huge problem there too. Question, of course, is once again, how much can Sylvanas contribute to make this punish even more dangerous? That Horrify didn't do anything but buy them a few seconds, so they wanted to try and isolate a Nuburak, as it seemed. That didn't work. If they can just Horrify him into the arms of Varian, then maybe they can make a play there, but this is not looking good at all. Web Beaver defeated. They're trying to make a play for Greymane. Stun is not there. And they're already diving out as the top keep is eating some damage. They might be able to take that one down if they're pushing for it, but they're actually not even doing that. So they're letting the defense clean that lane and move back into the mid lane, but only to poke the walls down. So this didn't do as much as they were probably hoping for, unless they are able to sneak the camp and maybe get a kill. But it seems that they're trying to make a play around their... Well, there's their level lead, and soon the talent lead that they're going to get here. I mean, they're letting that one slide, but they have more than a level. So if they just get some camps, they should be able to make a move here. But that allows the red team to turn in. Yeah, I don't know. I really think that Nothing Else to Do had a chance to take the top keep, and they should have probably taken it. They could have attacked there. They had ult still available. I really feel that they were just trying to play the better safe than sorry card. Didn't want to give a team fight to Ugly Gary. But then again, Horrify was already out. So Horrify was already used. I think they could have done a bit more here. Either way, situation is as it stands. The level 20 that they're about to hit should give them an easy time defending against the Web Weavers. Genji, they're chasing deep. They're a little bit... I mean, they're a bit frustrated here. So, yeah. I mean, in the middle of the map, Leo, 32 gems. That's the moment where you cannot die. And they are very quickly here to help him out and make sure that he doesn't do exactly that. Or this would have been a bit of a problem. Yeah, but up at the top, the Web Weaver is already doing work, and guys, that's one fort that is going to fall. So first fort is down, second fort is about to fall as well, which means that there's a lot less fountains available now. And they're going for the quick snipe on an Uberak. They're trying at least, but they don't have enough stuns to keep a lock on him. And now it's turning around against them as Genji is chasing them down. Leo's the first one to fall. That's a lot of gems down the drain that they are hopefully trying to recover here. But instead they're losing another 17 as Varian dies too. Even Greymane is being followed here. They're trying to go for another hit and a lick. Gul'dan has fallen. Genji is just cleaning them up one by one. And now it's Lucio who's trying to sneak past. Successfully though, but they are still losing 3 heroes. And level 20 is of course a big problem right now. Trader King is in. Yeah, I mean, from a variant composition, I really expected a follow-up stun and maybe also some different damage here. The combo that I talked about in the draft never really came to pass. Greymane going for the throat instead for the bullet also didn't make this all that easy. If you're going for a variant composition, you really want to blow a target up. And a follow-up stun or a root from your support or whatever is usually, yeah, big help. But they don't even have a stun on the side laner, and in addition to that, they never utilize the taunt into a Gul'dan Horrify either. So definitely a problem for them. And it shows. It shows in the kill count. 12 kills to 4. Nothing else to do played this well, so don't want to take anything away from them. But I really believe that with the composition that they've been trying to get together, the execution is not where it needs to be for this. So right here, 12 kills to 4. Genji is obviously just getting wild here. Now with the level 20 on his X-Strike, he gets the cooldown reduction, which was quite visible in the last fight too. If anything, that I'm a little bit disappointed that Nothing Else to Do is not capitalizing on their advantages more, because now it's level 20 versus level 20, and they still haven't gotten a single keep. So yeah, here comes the next attack. Maybe a ticket back into the game now, since they also have the Haunt. Nope, there's the Cocoon, and the red team gets deleted. Absolutely deleted in this fight. All the gems are gone. It's gonna be a 5-man team wipe as Gul'dan is dead. But still a little bit concerning that the blue team gave them that opportunity in the first place. They had a chance, I think, to do more damage before that. Maybe go for at least a keep, and they didn't. But that last fight obviously was more than enough to now march towards the core and lock in a victory in game number 1. Nicely done. 17 to 4 kills. A pretty convincing victory in this best of 7 in the first map of the best of 7 for Nothing Else to Do. GG and well played. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2 in the best of 7, Ugly Gary. They got, well, they just were on the receiving end of the beating. So we got nothing else to do heading into the second map. Cursed Hollow is their choice, and first pick, first ban goes over to Ugly Gary. Now again, in pretty much every single tournament that you're seeing in Heroes of the Storm, the way that first pick, first ban are allocated is pretty simple. Once that the first map is over, the loser has a choice whether they want to choose the map or whether they want to have first pick, first ban. Most of the time, the teams will decide to go for first pick, first ban. Gives you a little bit of an advantage in most cases, unless of course you have some kind of special strategy prepared for a certain map and you're gonna try that. But that was more so a thing at the early stage of Heroes of the Storm. Doesn't really happen all that much anymore, but there were definitely times in the past where you would see that every now and then. It's usually how any esports scene develops. You have at the beginning people that can just get wins by being a little bit more creative in the way that they're playing the game and just confront the opponent with something that they're not prepared for. But the more the games get established and the more people are figuring it out, the harder it is to go for that surprise wow element that helps them. So we get we get a ban on Falstad and we got a ban on the Haka. So both of the teams went right away to ban some of the globals out here. Vala and also Genji got the axe. And in Genji's case, it doesn't really shock me too much because, as you can see here, he did really well on the first map. I think, how many resets did he get in one of those fights? 3 after they hit level 20, so it was pretty bonkers. Hogger, high priority pick here, as so often. Good for the camp clear, obviously. Good to help take the boss and can also dive pretty deep here. We got Diablo and we got Tigers. One of the interesting things is how they... Now, obviously, on paper, this is one of the big counters, right? You have Diablo, and then Tigers can really chunk him down with a minigun. Most of the teams that you see in the Western scene have actually started to just adapt around it. They just let it happen. They leave Tigers up. They don't value him high enough in a situation like this. What we've seen in this particular tournament, on the other hand, is that every single time that a team goes for Diablo, they're trying to make sure that Tigers is not available by either banning him or picking him. So that has been a consistent theme here. And while it is understandable and makes sense, it's interesting how heavily they prioritize this. In the Western scene, if you have a Tigers on the other side, teams are still picking Diablo. They're still like, yeah, that's fine. We're just going to play around that. That's all right. So, yeah. It's one of those little twists. We got Jojo and we got Greymane, so that's already a really... I was about to say, that's a really nice comp when you're going for Infernal Shrines. And I was like, wait a second, wrong map. So, yeah, Jojo obviously still good to help you with wave clear. Also can help you a bit against any kind of auto attacker here with the blind. You have a bit more position on the bosses. But Greymane, curious if he still sticks it out with go for the throat now, or we're going to see some adjustment. Now, to be fair, they don't have a variant here to lock the target down, but they are clearly going for a very different composition right now. But alright, so we have Diablo Tigers to start us off. Supports have gotten the axe a bit too. Stukov has been very high priority throughout the tournament, and he got denied very, very early. The same is also true for Lucio now, which leaves us, amongst others, also with Brightwing and Anduin, two high priority picks for them. Leo and Rhaegar. Yeah, the doggy can still help on all of these camps, and Leoric is in. Space Lord skin, by the way. I'm not so sure. Like, the Space Lord skin is always one that didn't really do anything for me. Obviously, the Janitor is king, but also if you go for the Ice Giant, that one is pretty sweet too. But the Space Lord skin, not really. It can make up for it if he goes for an epic mount, maybe one that is super rare or something. But yeah, there's our Alarak again. So we got Brightwing and now we have Alarak. And keep in mind that Alarak was actually banned last map. So they know that there's an Alarak player on the side of Ugly Gary. And that played a big role when Ugly Gary went up against Luna Meow in the lower bracket. So this time they got Johanna to come in with a Condemn, suck him a bit closer, and then Alarak does his thing. But, well, here we go. Last pick. For map number 2, it's Malthael! Alrighty! Let's go, boys! We got Malthael in game number 2. Cursed Hollow is the map. The best of 7 continues. Let's go. A game on! Second game in the best of 7, and the blue team has decided to go for Malthael. The aspect of death. Depending on how he performs, turned into the aspect of being dead quite a bit in recent games. We got Rhaegar and Diablo, Tigers and Leoric to round out the draft for the blue team. They look good in game number 1. Can they do it again? On the right side of the map, it's Ugly Gary with Jojo, Brightwing, Greymane, Alarak. That's the interesting X factor here. And Hogger. Ugly Gary already played with Alarak in the past. They oftentimes played with an initial stun that Alarak could follow up on. But let's see what they can pull off in the second game with him. Greymane already on the soap bar. Staying clean over here. The blue team doesn't really want to fight yet. Alright, alright. So, a bit of a ping-pong play, and here comes the combo from Alarak. Also, the ghastly reach for... Consume Vitality for Leoric, but not on level 4 yet. Nah, it's gonna take a couple of seconds until that's happening, but yeah. So, down to the bottom of the map, that's where we're gonna see Hogger. They're still playing it out against... Oh, they actually want that kill. They're even pinging him here. Telekinesis is already out, the combo connects. Not too bad, but they also got a contest with Rhaegar helping out with the heals, with Malthael rotating back in. So didn't quite do anything for them, but it opened up an opportunity for Hogger at the bottom of the map to at least initially take the initiative on the lane. So good for him. Yeah, they're doing pretty okay here. Alright, Greymane. Straight going for the first camp. Same is pretty much happening with Malthael. Now, Rhaegar can help out with this, of course, a lot. Like, one lightning shield is all that's needed to push this a little bit faster. But yeah, either way, we now have at the top lane Alarak facing off against Leoric. Camps taken by both teams. Everybody just trying to gain control over the mid lane. First tribute is going to spawn up at the top. Now, that definitely is going to make the red team going to try and time their own mercenary camp, their siege giant camp, around the spawn of the tribute so that they have a maximum of pressure at the bottom of the map. And can also just play a delay game around the tribute. For the blue team, I honestly expect that they would go for their own siege giants a little bit faster than they're doing here. But both teams are totally happy to brawl this out in the middle of the map and go for the level 4 talent with the Chaos Reigns now. And we also have Master Assassin for Tychus, so clearly playing around Odin again. And I like the way that Ugly Gary is currently playing this. They're usually not putting all of their eggs in one basket. They're attacking on multiple lanes, and it helped them to take one of the towers down to 50% HP. Small changes, small advantages, obviously. Nothing to write home about. But yeah, it's gonna add up eventually if they can maintain pace here. But the first tribute is now announced, so you gotta make your play. You gotta decide how exactly you want to play this one out. Are you gonna go for the tribute? Are you gonna try and make a play for it? Are you just trying to poke out your opponent? Technically, we still have a global, and as you can see, they're taking the siege giants just so they can now push the bot lane even further. And Hogger, he moves topside together with Diablo, so they're really trying to just go for this or delay it. So they don't even have to take it necessarily. Delaying it alone is already going to help them a whole lot. But I was just about to say, that would have been a big fail if that already backfired on the first attempt to grab it by Rhaegar. But the siege giants are now at the bot lane and will do damage if time is being bought up here at the top. So, yep, this is a good position for Ugly Gary to be in. The more time they can buy, the better it's going to be for the red team. And they can just simply sit tight, but they also have to be careful with this little choke point here. But for now, they are definitely just like trying to slow this down a bit. And the siege giants will soon arrive at the bottom wall. And up here at the top, Diablo is also eating a lot of damage. Now Malthael is trying to control those choke points as best as he can. And here comes another interrupt attempt by Rhaegar. But now we got one tower down, and the siege giants are still doing work here. So that's not too shabby. I have no idea where Hogger on the other hand is going, and Brightwing doesn't know either. So they're trying to help out. But the tribute is probably going to be taken by the red team, because it seems that the blue team is just going to fall down to the bot lane as Leo and everybody else realize they just can't afford to sit here forever. So they are getting Leoric down to the bottom of the map. The wall has already fallen, and even the fort is now taking damage. And that should allow Ugly Gary to take this one. It's a 4 versus 4 for now, though, with both teams having access to level 7 talents now. But Hogger is pushing the mid lane, so they're getting a lot of damage here. Not only the bot lane with the siege giants, but also in the middle of the map with Hogger. We got now the diabolical momentum after initially we started things off with the Feast on Fear. Tribute number 1 is still in play. Yeah, gets taken. Brightwing sneaks it. Not a single kill in this game yet, but lots of structural damage already done. And they're continuing at the top. They're trying to take this one down too, so the wall is slowly going to fall here. And maybe not that slowly. They're about to get the gate as well. Still haven't gotten a kill here. But, yep, nice. Well done. I mean, on the macro end, I gotta say, Ugly Gary has the upper hand right now. But Leoric is trying to bring it back at the bottom of the map. So now he's the one that is all of a sudden taking structures down. Hogga is reacting to it. The next tribute, which is going to spawn in half a minute, is pretty well positioned for the red team. So they're likely to walk away with a 2-0 tribute lead. Unless, of course, they're losing a hero or so before. Which would put an enormous amount of pressure onto the blue team. Brightwing needs a bit more help here. A Fruit Fly alone cannot take a Bruiser cap. At least not in a reasonable time frame. Yeah, Malthael doing his thing here on the left side too. And level 10 is only half a level away. Woo, hello! They are going for the boss. Alright, seems like the red team sniffed that out. They're realizing what's going on, so they go for their own boss. It's not really a bad move from nothing else to do, because they are behind in experience. So this way they're at least guaranteed to get one boss. But they will have to deal with the fact that the red team is very likely going to go for the first curse here. And that boss, I mean, they could even delay this a little bit if they wanted. And hope that they can play around this, but yeah, not yet. So we got the level 10 abilities, we get the shockwave. This time it's also the bullet, he didn't go for the throat again. We're also looking at the counter-strike here in game number 2. And the blue team with their own heroic abilities now. We got the stacks for Malthael, we got Odin, thank God, for Tychus. I'm still a little bit burned. Yeah, they hurt me deeply when they picked Drill, I think, 3 times. I don't think it was this team in particular, but the teams in this tournament, so now I don't trust them anymore. We definitely have some trust issues here. So, yeah. And the first time I chalked it up to a misclick, the second time that it happened, it just hurt, and the third time was just a disaster. So at this point, trust is completely gone. And they will have to work for me to trust them again with their old choices. But as it stands, the top 4 is going to fall, so Ugly Gary, they are getting value, and if they get that tribute, it's going to be a curse against nothing else to do. Nice done. There's the the Apocalypse after the Entomb, but the blue team is incredibly low. They're trying to get a kill quickly, but they can't, and they're just falling back further in that choke point. It's a huge problem. Alarak wants another combo, and bam! There it is. Gets the combo connected. Leo is down, and so is Rega. Get wrecked. 2 kills to 0. The first 2 kills in the game at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. There's the channel. Siege Giants are already destroying the fort down at the bottom of the map. And Ugly Gary is looking pretty good. Yeah, they had an ugly game number 1, but this second game is looking way better now. They're looking real solid here. I like it. And I don't know, boys, but this is the 3rd fort that has now fallen, and this is a bit of a beatdown now. Only 2 kills, granted, but they did a great job on the macro end even before this. And now, yeah, they might lose Alarak here. They're desperately trying to open a path for him, and they do. Is another heal coming? I guess not, no. Alarak is dead. They're even trying to go for another kill. Tychus escaped. But Hogga was during all... Ooh, hello, Jojo. That's a 2nd kill. Maybe the blue team is bringing this back after all. Hogga did some nice work down at the bottom of the map and was able to take down the entire wall. They also have a level 13 talent. And even top side we're seeing damage on the towers. So, successful curse. All forts gone. And pretty much all the walls opened up more or less completely. This tower might survive. Yeah, but barely. Yeah, we're not going to count that. This one is going to get destroyed too. But this is all happening without a single tribute for the blue team. Now, the one thing that keeps them in play a bit is the fact that they have level 13 talents. So on an experience end, they're not too far behind. This might obviously change considering that now 3 forts are gone, which means Ugly Gary is going to get a pretty big increase in passive experience gains. We also had an adjustment from Rega that you might not have seen yet, but we have Bloodlust. So they are trying to get Bloodlust connected here with Odin and also, of course, with Malthael. But can they now? Yeah, Brightwing is here. They wanted to go for Leo, but they couldn't get that kill. Sneaking around. It's a minute and a half until the bosses are back up. But red team is probably feeling pretty good here. But for how long? Because there's a stun. And that's a dead Gravy. Didn't even get to face check the bush here, but he was trying to sneak past one. And yeah, we're going full Chinese bush meta on this one. So easy kill. And that is them taking a lead in kills and closing the gap in experience a little bit more. It also allows the blue team to attack the top side a bit more aggressively. And Leoric dealing with siege giants at the bottom of the map and trying to get a bit more value maybe. I was honestly thinking that he would stay for another wave. And he doesn't, so he's already moving into the middle to stop this. But I would have liked him to just get one more minion wave down at the bottom of the map. Might have led to them get a 4 tier. But top side, that's where Diablo bites the dust. And not only him, seems like Malthael is also not going to make it. He's going to try, but the telekinesis is there. Goodbye. Malthael is dead. And that is nearly level 60 now in the hands of Ugly Gary. Yeah, I said it before, but if you're ugly, that has a couple of upsides as well. Usually when you're really ugly, you don't get a lot of dates, unless you have tons of money. And that means that you have a lot of time to play games. You got a lot of time to play video games. Well, that usually, you know, practice makes perfect. And I don't know how ugly Gary is, but he got a lot of practice, is all I'm saying. By the way, the team name, Gary is apparently their side laner. So, yeah. I don't know if he is really legendarily ugly or if it's just a bit of a meme, but yeah, Ugly Gary, that's referring to their side laner. And now they're stealing the camp here. They got level 16, so there's nobody gonna stop them. We got Alarak with the mocking strikes. Look how fucking lazy Blizzard is, by the way. Look at the level 16 talent icon for Alarak. Think about where you've seen that before. Huh? Brightwing? With a magic spit? Exactly. Huge problem. So, here we go. Yeah, by the way, if you're getting mad about like the Ugly Gary explanation here, then I apologize, because I guess this is hitting a little bit too close to home. Those are the people that, for good reason, don't have mirrors in their apartment. Like, yeah, don't need to be reminded of that every day. I'm Tindering all day long, swiping right, but nothing happens. It's disaster. Dollar bills, boys. Pull an Elon. Okay, so 3 kills to 4, and everybody is taking their boss. Next tribute is up. So far, we've seen 4 tribute end in the hands of Ugly Gary. Can they get another one? This is a huge problem for the blue team. I mean, yes, they got the boss, but up at the top side, that boss is marching for keep. And, well, this keep is gone. If nobody helps, this keep is gonna get destroyed. And, yeah, the mid lane is also a problem. They really gotta step it up now. That's a nice entomb. That's a good follow-up. Big stun on 3 heroes. Now there's the ult for Malthael. It didn't do anything, and Malthael is dead. They need kills. They need them now, and they're not getting them. Rhaegar is dead too. Brightwing kills Diablo, which in and of itself is already an insult. And that, ladies, is a 5-man team wipe. And that should be game. Nicely done. And yeah, well played. Huge team fight. I mean, look at that. Everybody just got murdered there. Total disaster for the blue team. So after the beatdown that happened on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Ugly Gary is bringing it back. We have 9 kills to 3 and a victory on map number 2 for the red team. Nicely done, Jan Cursed Hollow. And we are headed straight to game number 3. Volskaya Foundry, map number 4. The series is tied. That's how we like it. Give me those games. So yeah, we are guaranteed at least another 3 maps. But we had a nice back and forth. Map number 1, Tomb of Spider Queen, good control from nothing else to do. And then on the second map, it was the Ugly Gary show. Now that we're heading into Volskaya Foundry, drafts will obviously adjust a little bit to all of this. It's not really a map that we're seeing a lot in the European scene, and for a very good reason. The reason is that I organize most of the tournaments in the European scene right now. I hate Volskaya Foundry, so I don't put it in the map pool. That's how you do it. To be fair, most players don't like it either. So, yeah. If players all of a sudden came running and like, Khaldor, we really, really need that map in the map pool, we would put it in there, but it's not really a thing. Most players have pretty much the same opinion. They're just like, yeah, the objective is shit. It's a dumb map, we don't want to play it either, so let's just ban it. Let's just don't put it in the pool, and that's exactly what's going on there. But yeah, here we are. We got Alarak banned after the last map. I mean, again, they banned him already on the first map. Now they're banning him here on the third. So they let him go through once and then they decided, you know what? Not really a thing. But yeah. Anyways, we got Genji banned, so they're sticking with that after the first map. Makes sense to me. We got the Haka ban. And there's a Vala for the first time. Vala first pick. So, Ugly Gary... Oh, woo, I like it. We have a Blaze finally. Not that Leoric first pick, but we've actually seen Blaze now. Okay, I like that a lot. So, two things already happening. First of all, they let Vala through. And when you let Vala through, then you're more or less already expecting them to take it, considering that everybody just banned her. But now we have Blaze and Johanna in the first rotation. I really like that a lot. That's a great comp. It's a really nice front line for Volskaya Foundry in particular. So, pretty big fan of what they're currently showing here. And now we just have to figure out how they follow this up. But this is definitely a very good start into the draft for them. And the blue team is already buying their time. They're going for the Leo. And they go for Muradin. Alright, fair enough. They got the Dwarf. Can always jump around, hit that Storm Bolt, try and follow up. But also a question how Vala is going to play this, because what we've seen so far most of the time is that Vala went for the auto attack style. If you do that, oftentimes in the Western scene, you will see... I mean, you won't see... okay, there's a couple of options how they could play it. Double support, I don't really think that's going to happen. They could go for another melee, have a big front line, and keep her as a hyper carry, or just add an additional damage dealer and be like, okay, just YOLO. We got the ban on white main. Okay. And, well, what do you ban out against them right now? Targeting support might not be a bad idea, but they're a bit more worried about Tychus being picked here. Yeah, Muradin can also be chunked down quickly. This is an interesting one. I love that we have a game where Vala is all of a sudden in the draft. That's always fun, you know, when teams mix it up a little bit and finally one of the heroes that got banned the entire time makes it through. It's kind of enjoyable. Okay, we get Stukov. Yeah, if you hit the stuns properly, you can do a lot with that as well. They go for... They really love their Greymane, don't they? I wonder if at some point Greymane is going to get banned. He didn't really have a huge impact in game number 1. Game number 2 was much better for him. But considering that they now pick him for the 3rd time in a row, this might be something that eventually Nothing Else to Do is going to respond to. But the double pick. Blue team, rounding out the draft, we need at least one support. And what else? What's it going to be together with Vala? Which variation are they aiming for? The triple front line. Hogger and Rega. Vala hyper carry. Okay. Yeah, let's see what my girl can do here. Oof, not gonna be easy against this. And the final pick. In Blaze Jojo, already very good. Greymane, nice. They need a bit more. So what is the final choice here? For the 3rd map. Which team is gonna pull ahead? And we're gonna find out right now. Volskaya Foundry, 3rd map, and here comes Marthael. Let's go. Game on! We got game number 3 on the left side. Nothing Else to Do. With a triple front line, we got Leo, Muradin, and Hogger trying to protect Vala, who very likely is going to go for the auto attack style, if the recent games that we've seen in this tournament are any indication. And on the right side of the map, we have Ugly Gary with a very nice combo too. We got a Blaze Johanna together with Malthael here. So this should be a really, really interesting game. Volskaya Foundry, not something that we see a whole lot in the Western scene. So let's see how they're going to play this out. Once again, it is Greymane as the damage dealer. As expected, Vala now with the stacks. And of course the Gambit. Now we have the Creed of the Hunter, which means that you want to keep her alive as long as you can, because those 25% attack speed are juicy. Really juicy. The one thing that you don't want to happen is Vala dying. So try and get those stacks together while keeping her safe. And then she can, in the late game in particular, absolutely murder any kind of front line. And she has a lot of targets here. So she has 3 targets to choose from. Could have gone into a multi-shot build too. Again, I'm just reminding everybody of the performance that Nick, for example, pulls off with his multi-shot Vala quite frequently. So, yeah. But already a little bit of a burn happening here. players are splitting. At the 1 minute mark, we're gonna see the turrets appear on the map. Well, all the camps are gonna appear, which means that... Ooh, Vala. Yeah, girl, you don't want to die that early. You gotta be careful. But they're turning it, and that's a lot of stacks for Vala too. She's currently sitting at 17. But the other dwarf has to jump away too. Pleb horse. Yeah, that's a fail. Can't go for the pleb horse, buddy. I'm sure you have something in your lineup that is epic and rare. But it's all about the turrets for now. So get those items, get a turret together, and then the healing beacon. Hogger, for a second I thought that Hogger is already making a play for it, but nope. Instead we're having Malthael trying to take a camp here. Okay, so Malthael already trying to apply a bit of extra pressure up at the top. That should definitely help them. Vala has now started with Rhaegar to take the camp. They are going to be slow, so yeah, this is going to take him a second or two. So that top line pressure is already a problem, and now the red team is making a move straight up for the healing beacon. They had the earlier level 4 talent. Vala is obviously saying hello, which means that they have to let that camp slide. So that camp is still delayed. And not only did the healing beacon get taken by the red team, but they're also now pushing this more aggressively towards the wall. This is looking very good, honestly, for the red team, at least in the early stages. And this is echoing a little bit what I said in the second game. And that's that the macro play from Ugly Gary just seems to be a little bit better than what we're seeing from the blue team. Now, we're only 2.5 minutes into this game. We haven't seen a single objective yet. Anything can happen, especially if team fights go the way of the blue team. That would be great for them. But I feel there's a bit of a trend here where the red team is just slightly better at macro play. They have more items, they've done a little bit of damage at the top wall, and they just time things better around mercenary camps and also around these mini objectives. So we'll see if they can continue that throughout the game, but it was definitely one of the things that helped them to win map number 2. And they're of course going to try and take the lead here. But the first objective is up now. We are in the middle, so it's checkpoint time. And with Jojo plus Blaze, that is a very tanky composition if you're trying to take control and hold control here. So can they pull it off? For now, they are going to take a bit of an advantage. But everybody is still skirmishing this out. Nobody is really committed to any items yet. Let's not forget that Vala is also scaling very nicely into the late game. Particularly once that she has access to her level 16. Always assuming that she still has the attack speed. She can murder. She can absolutely murder people. And this time we're getting the hot pursuit. This is a talent that they've been letting go a lot. So more of a traditional Vala style now. We already have a 58 stacks, and especially these situations will allow her to stack like crazy. So Vala is currently going at it. The blue team have taken a very nice position at the 80% for Ugly Gary. And even if this is going to end up being an objective for Ugly Gary, let's not forget that Vala can then also stack around the Protector a bit. And she is currently doing well. Now she's also a little bit low in HP and needs to be really careful around this. But there's a few more hits, and now all of a sudden Jojo's in real trouble. Damn, son, that's a kill. And Blaze gets also body blocked, and boom, that's 2 heroes down. And that definitely shifts the balance of the game, and it accelerates the threat level of Vala even further. Not only did she not die in the last fight, but she's now at 82 stacks, and they can even steal the opponent's camp away. So that was worth a lot. If you can win these fights with Vala in the early stages, then you can imagine what she can do later on, always assuming that she is not going to get crushed time and time again to lose that attack speed. But this is very, very good right now for nothing else to do. They get the first objective, or at least they're very, very close to locking it in. They haven't guaranteed, they don't have it safe yet. Well, depends a bit on what happens with Muradin now, I suppose. And yeah, he needs to get away from this one. But they're at 99%, and the longer this lasts, the more Vala can stack. So yeah, she's at 91. Her damage is going to be stellar as the game continues. I think we're going to see a lot more Vala bans now. But kill against Leoric, so hope for Ugly Gary to maybe get the objective after all. Vala is now also out of mana, so things are getting even more tricky for her. But she's also at 108 stacks. Jojo tried to come in again, and yeah, this is time to head back. So they might have to give this one up after all. Not sure if they have enough time to move back in, so maybe they lose the protector after all. Death timers were not just... Death timers weren't high enough. That's the big problem. They got the kills, but the death timers weren't high enough, so the red team could move in again. They got the first protector now in early level 10. But again, Vala is sitting at 108 stacks. Malthael also going into the Tormented Souls. I expected last rights over here, especially with Vala on the other side and trying to take her down. So she's still stacking, and she is just crushing it. Now they need to make sure that she is not dying, but look how quickly the Protector dies. The Protector is pretty much gone. And Vala is at 134 stacks now. We are only 6.5 minutes into the game. If Haymaker for Muradin, still not a fan. So we got nothing else to do, pulling a bit of a Lauba here. I mean, maybe you get Malthael out of the fight with that, fair enough, but still. Greymin at 28,000 damage, we have Vala at 23,000. And yeah, Vala is a real threat if this continues. Okay, so down to the bottom of the map, we have pretty much nobody sitting there. It's just like the mid and the top lane are currently getting occupied here. Up at the top, also Protector now gone. Not really accomplishing a lot. They didn't threaten a single fort. They only opened some of the walls up. This is the only thing that they were able to do here. And this is starting to be a bit of a concern. Still level 11 versus 11. It's still even experienced. Nobody has taken a big lead yet. But Vala is now nearing 150 stacks. Okay. There's the ult for Malthael. I'm still waiting for the Haymaker, which hasn't been used. And Muradin is dead. Well, it would have been nice to have Avatar here, wouldn't it? So yeah, I'm not really too happy with those choices. The stun connects with Vala, and is she able to get out? Yes! Barely making it out of the fight, but she does escape, so it's good. Not too happy. Again, Avatar and Muradin, I really think if you're going up against this comp, you really kind of need to go for that. Anyways, Vala is still alive. She hasn't died. She has completed 3 of the stacks now. And pretty good for her. I mean, at this point, again, it's all about the bonus damage. You have the attack speed. You're working towards the level 16. As ults go, she went for the Rain of Vengeance here. Not sure if one of the boys may be disconnected or what exactly happened. So far, it seems like that's not really the case. So yeah, they're still fine. But Muradin dying in that last fight, that was definitely a bit of a problem. If you go for Haymaker, you need to isolate a target. And I think in this case, the only reason that I can really see why you would go for a Haymaker is you're trying to get rid of Malthael. So once that he starts to make a move, he, by the way, dropped. So yes, one player dropped out. If he goes for the Tormented Souls in one of those team fights and you want to get rid of him, then you can make a bit of a play there, I suppose, and just get him out. But generally speaking, if your front line... I mean, they have 3 heroes at the front line, but they only have 1 real tank there, so that's a bit of a problem. We'll see how tanky he is in the later fights, if he can survive through all of this. Currently, I have my doubts, to be honest. Blue team is now doing pretty decent in clearing the waves and trying to apply some lane pressure too. If you look at the damage output, 28,000 for Vala. She is the hyper carry though. So she is really the only main damage dealer, at least when we're talking range damage. And on the other side, it's Greymane with the 33,000 that he has of course also a bit of AoE that comes with the cocktail that he can use there. Similar amount of siege damage between the two of them. But for Vala, it's really that level 16 that's going to play the biggest role here. If they can get her without deaths to level 16, then once she has Manticore, she should be able to melt that front line away. And there's 3 targets for her, 3 prime targets, Blaze, Jojo, and also Malthael. But it all depends a little bit on how much position you still have on the map. First objective is always a bit of a throwaway. The second one that is spawning topside now, that one is already getting a bit more impactful and usually results in a fort taken down. But then afterwards, these things are starting to scale a lot harder. And yeah, that's where things are getting a bit ugly. But even with the last one, thanks to the single target damage on Vala, they were able to take it down pretty quickly. So that's going to be what they're looking for again. My biggest concern again is Muradin. He also went here for the Reverberation, so you can't go into a healing static build now either. which means that we're going to get Bronze Mid-Range on level 13, and then we'll see how he's playing around with the 16 here. But he definitely needs to be a bit careful. And the issue is, of course, that mobility alone is not going to necessarily help Muradin either, because if he can jump out of these fights time and time again, as long as he keeps the Dwarf Toss up, then you can save him. But we have to condemn on Jojo. We have also Stukov, which can shut that down to begin with. And then you have additional stuns from Blaze and also with the ult from Johanna. And that makes things a lot more tricky. But either way, we're going to find out once that Malthael is back to business. And yeah, keeping our eye on Vala. And let's see how she can play this out. But there is, of course, a bit of a lead now for the red team. Especially noticeable when you're looking at the experience between the two teams. They're closing in on level 13. And half a level might not be too much, but that can definitely snowball quickly. Well, and we're back. So apparently Malthael had a little bit of a PC problem, which would not have happened if he would use a high-tech PC. Once again, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the links in the description. High-tech, can't recommend them enough. They are absolutely amazing and they are absolutely reliable. So, with that, what do we get? We got at the top right, the camp taken. Again, the lead has now extended a bit in experience to a level 13 talent. We have on top of this also the It Hungers right there. And yeah, all the way up towards the top. We are still having them poke out the camps a bit that both teams were taking. Level 13. Now, Vala goes again into Tempered by Discipline. This is one of the things that's also very different from the different regions, because what we see on the western side most of the time is them making a move into Gloom quite often. Tempered by Discipline can be kind of nice for a bit of self-sustain in these fights, but yeah, we'll see. So either way, we now have Vala with 154 stacks, and well, I still want to see her on level 16. It would be kind of crazy if she makes it to 16 without a single death in stacks like she does right now, has like maybe 200. I don't think she's going to get to the 250 in time, but she would definitely crush it. So that would be tons and tons of damage that she can get out. But yeah, at this point, what do we have? Top side. We got the next objective spawning. So yeah, things are slowly starting to escalate a little bit, because as the objectives continue and time ticks down, we have also some scaling happening on the objective side, and this one is already going to hit a little bit harder. So teams are going to try and make a play for it. Malthael is a little bit lost here. I have no idea what exactly he's doing, but that was a big F. Like, what was that? Yeah, he got haymakered. All right, he got haymakered. Applause for Mr. Haymaker. All right. Didn't catch it for a second. So yeah, the man got haymakered. So Muradin, he heard me rant about how a haymaker is not giving him value, and he's just like, I'm gonna show that bastard, that stupid caster. I'm just motivating people here. So yeah, he haymakered him hard. Malthael found himself on the wrong side of the map and then quickly died. More stacks for Vala. A little bit of wiggle room up at the top now. And Muradin is now emboldened and is jumping around like a little bunny on crack, hopping from one move to the next. And down to the bottom of the map, our 1v1 is happening between Blaze and Leo. Yeah, not like this. That one went nowhere, so yeah. That's the moment when you're like, oh, I hope nobody saw that. Unfortunately, we had the camera right on top of you, my friend. So, what else? Level 16, about to hit for Ugly Gary. But the blue team is also very close to it, and then it's Vala time. Currently she's at 38,000 damage. And now it's time for Manticore. Let the Manticore reign supreme in a moment. Yep, there it is. So now she has Manticore, is closing in on 200 stacks, has not died, so the 25% attack speed are still there. But it is again the red team that takes the added item. So now they got another healing beacon. But this is honestly where Vala should be able to do tons and tons of damage. Dwarf launch is also in. Muradin is trying to hit this up a little bit. And Vala is quite happy here and is starting to chunk. So, with the items all going over to the red team side, they definitely have a bit of a lead. But this could be negated. Leo is now slowly moving towards the top. Vala is eating a bit more damage from a liking. And hello! Malthael dropping again. Guys, again, high-tech PCs. They're reliable. They run like a Duracell battery. Shout out to everybody who still remembers that advertisement. But yeah, our boy is having some trouble, and I really hope that he can bring it back, because this is currently looking a bit unreliable here. But let's hope that he makes it back in time for the big team fight. And we're back. So, Malthael is having some problems, and that was a very unfortunate moment to disconnect, but thankfully they were not in the middle of the fight yet. But that fight is starting right now. And here comes the ult on Malthael. So far, they're just moving away from it, the secret counter, and that ult went nowhere. So, yeah, that didn't do anything for them. Still, Jojo is trying to get the objective. Muradin, he wants the haymaker, and he eats the stun instead like a champ, and Rega is sleeping on the job. So Rega down. Vala's trying her best to get the damage out, but this is not looking good for the blue team. They had a great start, but now this is happening, so she's still crushing it a bit and is closing in on the 200. But with Muradin committing honorable Sudoku in that last fight, that didn't go all too well. Yeah, but again, it's the problem. If you don't have Avatar and you're just too greedy to try and get that one haymaker out, then you jump in and all of a sudden you realize that Blaze is paying attention to you. The jet propulsion hits you like a truck, and that results in the tank being blown up within seconds. Now, Vala has started to chunk the damage. She's at 53,000, so after she used Manticore, she has now overtaken Greymane in damage, and she's really melting these frontliners away. But she's also getting attacked all the time, so they're trying to pressure her back. Leo has already moved down to the bottom of the map, up here at the top. Likely a fort gonna be taken down. But yeah, things are getting a bit nasty right now. So good damage. Vala is burning this as quickly as she can, but again, the fort is obviously gone. And now Muradin gets stunned again, and the Ancestral is again too late, and he is again dead. Yep, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you pick Avatar. Exactly that. Every time he comes in, he gets stunned, and he dies, and Rega is just too late with those Ancestrals. I think he wants to play like super safe, but at least Vala is able to take Greymane down, but is she able to survive? For now, she is. Yeah, I mean, she is crushing it. She's absolutely crushing it with the damage here. There's no denying that. Her killing Greymane was big. But the jet propulsion from Blaze is connecting time and time again, but they're slowing him down, and as long as Vala is getting those shots together, they might get the kill after. Look how she's chasing everybody. Fucking Vala. Like, not dying yet. Now they're going for Stukov. He's dead too. Vala's at 70,000 damage. Again, guys, before she picked level 16, Vala was behind Greymane in damage. Now she is already 13,000 ahead of him. That's bonkers. And that's with Muradin dying over and over again. So she is crushing it as expected with that level 16 talent. And now she's also at 280 stacks. So we are having her at 300 stacks in just another moment. So the damage is, I mean, damn son. Yeah, she is murdering. And once they hit level 20, whew, Firefly, I mean, again, doesn't matter what she's going for. If she goes for the Firefly Quiver or if you're going to see the Acrobat instead. But yep, she's going to quiver it up here. So we're going to get her with the extra range. And that is going to hurt. Yeah. That is really going to make this super safe for her. And good luck for Ugly Gary. Because the tide has turned now. If they cannot control her, she will crush them. Single-handedly, if she has to. Already starting to melt the front line a little bit. Jet propulsion misses this time, and the Entomb does not. The Entomb connects. Nice, the Ancestral this time is ready, and the second one connects too. Everybody gets pushed back. Ults have mostly been used. And Vala is still starting to poke, and look how quickly the hit point bar of Blaze disappears here. Now, shouldn't get too cocky on the other hand, but she's literally a single hit away from fully accessing her level 1. Now we got the no one can stop death here. Well, nobody but a shitty PC, as we already saw here. But on top of that, we now have also the fortified bunker. We got the Hunter's Blunderbuss. Vala is doing her thing, gets the quest completed, and that is a fully stacked Vala without a single death. Has all the Gambit stacks together still. and is just attacking, 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 attacking. One hit at a time, and I can tell you that Jojo doesn't like that in the slightest. So Bunker is out, Jojo is barely getting away from it, Stukov coming in, slapping everybody out of the way as best as he can, but Vala can stop, won't stop. Maybe now she can be stopped. Yes, it's a triple, it's a quad kill. They get 4 kills, and that might just be what they needed. Full 5-man team wipe just as the objective spawns, despite the 2 turrets that were there. And that was huge. Absolutely huge. 9 kills to 6. Ugly Gary. Just as they were getting the shit kicked out of them, they come in, get a 5-man, and now they're moving into the mid lane to take down the keep. Now, they could try and go core here. With Greymane, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. If they're trying to make that work, and they're already positioning themselves towards the core, then they could try to take advantage of the death timers. 20 seconds, and it seems like they're going to make the play. Jojo's a bit low. But yep, they're moving in for it. They're going to try and end the game right here, right now. They know that late game fights are going to be a problem for them, but I don't know if they have enough time. The shield is falling slowly. They're trying to make a play for Leo, but that doesn't work out either. The core is falling, but is it falling quickly enough? That's the big question right now. 70%. Stukov with a slap. 60%. I'm not sure if they can do it. It's 50%, and they're starting to lose heroes here. 40%. Oh, the stun. Stukov is dead. 30% on the core. Leo's dead again. They're killing Blaze. They need Greymane, and he dies too. 16%, and the entire red team gets wiped. Oh my god. This game is out of control. Yep, right here. They went for the core. They tried to distract them, but 16% is quite a decent chunk, and of course now it's an attempt by nothing else to do to repay the favor. They're coming over towards the right side, trying to take the keep down. They find themselves in a similar position here, trying to take the structures down and go for the core. Vala in that last fight has now exceeded 100,000 damage, and they have about the same amount of time here. This is getting nasty. So both of the teams trying to come in with the same play, but we have one defender, and that's Malthael. He's trying to buy as much time as he can, but the shield is already down. They're trying to go for it. If Malthael dies, Haymaker being used here. Malthael still alive, Ancestral being used, and that is game. That's game right here. Nothing else to do with the victory in game number 3 against Ugly Gary. GG. Garden of Terror. Okay, Ugly Gary against nothing else to do. Yeah, boys, we had it. The core race. Well, it wasn't quite a core race, but trying to go for the core quickly. Now, I can absolutely understand why Ugly Gary made the call they made, because they were losing the game pretty much the entire time. And then they got this one team fight that absolutely allowed them to murder the opponent. They went for the core. Greymane got zoned out pretty well though by Leoric and never really made it onto the core. Now, it could have been played a little bit better by the red team. There's no denying that. But then again, the same can also be said for the defense from nothing else to do. At the end of the day, they were able to defend the core with 16% still left and then made it across the map to end the game in their favor, which you can definitely argue is a deserved victory since they did incredibly well throughout the entire game. Now we're heading into Garden of Terror, big map, so we can expect maybe also Falster to be banned again. They go for Junkrat instead. And I wonder if they're still getting rid of Alarak, because in game number 1 and game number 3, which is the 2 maps that the blue team won, they both times banned Alarak. But they're banning Vala first. It was first pick, first ban for Ugly Gary. So Vala is eliminated. Hoga, high priority pick on Garden of Terror. That's not different from what we're seeing in the Western scene. You want to get all the camps. This is a huge map. There are tons of mercenary camps, and Hoga is fantastic at claiming them. So definitely what they need to do here. Are we going to see an Alarak ban on the 3rd slot? Unless, of course, he's taken earlier by Ugly Gary. You can definitely play very heavily on the macro here, and I think that's one of the reasons also why we have the map. Here comes Stukov. We got Jojo together with it. Yeah. And a bit of a moment of truth. I think there's a very good chance that if Alarak isn't picked here, that he's getting banned again. It really depends on how much of a priority he is for them. Now, when they had the chance, they picked him. He was banned against them several times. Here comes Diablo, and they pick Tychus again. Remember, this is the thing that they do. They are really, really afraid of Tychus being picked against Diablo. They really don't like it. Most of the Western teams are totally willing to let it happen and play around it. You see sometimes a Tychus banned out if they have an opportunity there. But now with Tychus taken early, it also means that Alarak is still open for a ban and he is getting the axe again. So Alarak is already out. Ugly Gary could get rid of something. I wouldn't be shocked to see Leo ban, considering how high up in the meta Leo is for these boys. But they are getting rid of Greymane. They were the ones logging in Greymane time and time again, and now they eliminate him. Now Greymane is obviously pretty good here, because he adds a lot of camp clear, which is exactly what you want, as I said. But moment of truth. What's it gonna be? Are we gonna get that Johanna Blaze this time from Nothing Else to Do? Is anybody gonna pick Falstad to have a global on the map? Well, for now, it's Blaze, I like it, and we get Sylvanas. Not bad. Solid draft, nothing crazy, nothing that is insane, but it is a very, very good start into this. Good composition, frontline is nice. But on the side of Ugly Gary, the final two picks, so what they still need is, of course, a support. They could go for Brightwing if they want to have some global. I mean, pretty much anything they have. And we get a Tassadar. Nice. Yeah, we get a double StarCraft on the damage. Tychus and Tassadar. Okay. Together with Brightwing. Shitwing in the house. And our last pick, it's the birdie! Falstad! Map number 4, everybody. Nothing else to do against Ugly Gary. Let's go. Game number 4. Party time, everybody. We got Falstad as a global in the game. This is the first Falstad that we actually have here. So Falstad is in the house. We got Blaze and Jojo at the front line. Sylvanas and Stukov to round out the draft for the team in the lead. It is a best of 7, so they have to win at least... Well, they have to win 2 more maps. Ugly Gary, they're going to try and catch up. On the right side, we got the red team with Diablo and Hogger. No other frontliner. Instead, we have Tychus and Tassadar for damage. And as you can see here, it is a Brightwing for them heals. So, good stuff. In terms of builds, we have the static charge on level 1. We have a bit of a brawl in the middle of the map to get things started. Just a little bit as a warm-up. See if they can maybe kill someone. Look at that, sneaky. Not making a move. Big wall. The wall is there, and it's instead Diablo. It's in trouble, and he is dead. Diablo gets taken down. Falstad with a kill, and that backfired a little bit. So they were the one trying to make the play. Cool thing, of course, about the Tassadar and Diablo composition, as mentioned in the past, is that all of these force walls that Tassadar puts down allow Diablo to stun a target into them. So you're creating some artificial walls that just help to get some additional damage in there. Tassadar, he's great at building walls. He is tremendous. And, well, we'll see what exactly he can do in the later stages of the game to help Diablo out. And maybe also drive a bit of a wedge between the blue team. What I like in this case now is that we have for the first time a Falstad though. And the reason why I like it is actually pretty simple. I really like when teams also think a little bit about a macro game that they want to play here. And we've seen that a few times from Ugly Gary. But nothing else to do hasn't really shown that a whole lot yet. But with Falstad, they have at least the tools in the game that would allow them to focus on the macro game a little bit more. If they're going to do it, that's a different question, but time will tell. For now, it's just camps. Camps. Everybody's going for camps, and Sylvanas is making sure that at least the camps of the red team are not getting too much damage done in the early game. Now, the seeds are also slowly coming up. We have, again, on level 4, the Master Assassin, so it's going to be Odin. No shocker here. And there's the Magic Spit, with the electric fence now taken, and a sneaky attempt to steal a camp away. Hello! Yeah, it's a bit aggressive. Ugly Gary is getting really aggressive with this one. Up at the top, talking about aggression, Tassadar and Sylvanas are fighting a 1v1 here. A bit of tower damage, nothing too crazy. And Blaze also getting attacked down there, so, Yep, but the first seed is now up. So not really too much is happening yet, but definitely... Oh, Dibbles, careful, you don't want to die again. You already got dropped once, you don't want to have to happen straight up in the next fight once more. Falstad is already here. Yeah, is now moving over to the mid lane to push that out. But Tacita is now attempting to do the same thing, and the birdie is back on his way to the top lane. So they're still trying to just keep all of the experience, all of the minion experience and all of the lanes up. It seems like they're also willing to give this one up here. Or at least just try to delay it with Jojo and the shield glare. There's little else that's happening. I think Blaze might be too late. No, it's fine. Falstad is now pushing the top lane. So yeah, this is starting to get actually kind of nice for nothing else to do. They're getting a bit of extra damage in here. Nobody's dealing with this. As long as they can interrupt it, this is going to be good for them. So the first tower at the top has already fallen. The second one is nearly down. And Falstad got a little bit more than he probably even expected. In the middle of the map, it's Diablo that gets attacked again, but it feels that the red team has pretty much given up on this. The jet propulsion was not a bad idea, but it didn't connect here. Brightwing has to help Hogger, and Tacita isn't here yet, so this is a 5 versus 4, and Diablo doesn't like that at all. Yeah, Diablo has liked that even a little bit. That Force Wall didn't help him either. And look at the talent choice on the side of Falstad. That already tells you everything that you need to do, that you need to know here. Outside of the fact that Hogger now died as well. We got the secret weapon in. So that is one of the talents that you normally try and go for if you are attempting to push the side lanes out. So if your whole goal is to get some extra damage on these auto attacks and you find yourself alone on the side lane, then you can get a lot of that in. So this is pretty much the ideal scenario. And with 3 kills to 0, bit of a leading experience and structural damage on all lanes, this is not too shabby. Yeah, looking at a good foundation for game number 4. And yeah, this is a best of 7, of course, so they would have to win 2 more maps. But if they take it here and take a 3-1 lead over Ugly Gary, yeah, that could hurt. That could hurt a lot. So yeah, let's see how they are playing it. And for Ugly Gary, they are probably a little bit frustrated because of what happened on the last map. So they're currently trying to do what they can, I guess, in order to catch up, tie the series again, as they did on the second map. But again, they're trailing a little bit behind here. And it's not so much the experience, it's more so the fact that they're losing the walls. That doesn't really play a big role yet, but if at any point we're going to get an objective for the blue team, it could make all the difference here. So already, Diablo all out at the front. Way too much damage on him. Now Brightwing is coming in to help out, but now Brightwing herself is getting attacked too. Brightwing is in real trouble here, barely makes it out. The problem is that the rest of the team is also low, and with an additional stun on Diablo, he gets murdered again. Now the red team is also dishing out a lot of damage, but they're losing Tacita now, and this is kill number 5, and they have level 10 abilities. So everybody is a bit low over here, but this should result in a second seat being taken by nothing else to do. On top of that, we have now the top lane getting attacked. To be fair, this is happening at the bottom of the map as well, where the fort is already down to 50% HP. Sylvanas is now trying to steal a camp away. Falstad is trying to do the same thing. They got level 10 and could technically try and fight for this one. And might even do that, but yeah, what about the rest of the team? Okay, there's the barbecue. He moves away. Camp can be taken. Don't tell me they don't get a single one of these camps. They got too fucking greedy. Look at those suckers. Sylvanas is dead. Falstad is dead. Jesus, how greedy can you get? Guys, what they just did is they attacked this camp and this camp at the same time, split Blaze down to the bot lane, then they got attacked before they took either camp, lost both, lost 2 of their heroes, and now they're gonna lose a top fort. The greed! They lost the fort at the bottom of the map, they lose the fort at the top. Oh my god. They had 5 kills to 0, full control, and they just threw it away. Damn. Yeah, that was a present. It's Christmas come early for Ugly Gary. They got a massive present right now. Now, this game is not over, but I think it nearly could have been. And all of a sudden, the red team, momentum, they steal another one. Jeez, Luis, that is a disaster. 2 tributes to 0. Yeah, they went for way too many things at the same time. And it backfired. It backfired heavily. Half-level lead now for the red team. Obviously not over yet, but they have to stabilize. I mean, it seems to me they're definitely a little bit off right now. You see it already on the rotations. They're trying to stabilize again. I think half of this is going to have... It has to do with the fact that half the team is currently playing standing because they got burned in the last fight so heavily that they just can't sit down right now. They need a little bit of aloe vera to apply, and then maybe they can slowly get into the rhythm again. But as it stands right now, they got spanked so hard that sitting is just not in the cards. Level 13 is there. As we got Falstead jumping over. Final. There's only fort that is still in play for them. Crazy. They were so far ahead. And now that happens. The bird is getting nearly cooked, but they couldn't get the kill. If Diablo pops his ult there, they get it though. But yeah, 13 versus 13. This is also one of those moments where you're quite happy that you have a Falstead in your midst, because he can at least help you to get control again. And Pershali's lane's out. They're actually trying to go for a sneaky kill on Hogger. That didn't help. But this, honestly, could be the first objective. Depends on whether or not they can save the rest of the team. That's a lot of... Oh, that's a lot of ults that just got used. Damn! Double transformation. Way before anything happens here. If they can interrupt this a little bit and wait them out, then there's nothing on the side of Ugly Gary. And they burn Diablo down again. They lose Jojo though, and they also lose Stukov. Yeah, they just attacked into Archon and into Odin. And look at Tychus. Brightwing is helping him survive as he goes deep to take Sylvanas with him. So 6 kills to 5, but the lead in experience is being extended quite heavily. They're going for their second seed, push through the middle, and try to get to level 16. We might get another tie in this series. Yeah, this match is well scripted. I mean, damn. Can you imagine how mad the blue team has to be? I mean, how mad would you be if you find yourself all of a sudden in this spot after you had a 5-0 kill lead, 2 tributes to 0, and more or less full map control? I would be fuming. So they go to the next talent in a moment, and this should be the first Garden Terror wave. Guys, there's only one team that has a level 16 with it, and that's Ugly Gary. Yeah, they are taking early position. They have level 16, and now they can easily go for the seed, lock it in, and get the Garden Terrors. And then we might even see them take one of the keeps down. They're even sneaking this one because they're saying, what are you going to do? We got level 16, you got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. Falstad, yeah, he's the global, he's at the top. He's trying to help them do at least some damage. But here come the Garden Terrors. He's going to get a bit more damage on this one. But Hogger is here, so Falstad will have to retreat. And now it's Garden Terror time. Alright, so he's bouncing out. And in the meantime, they gotta defend the mid lane. Yeah, 3 Siege Giants here. Here comes Odin. Tacita is popping his ult as well. What a barrage of damage. What an onslaught. Jeez, look at this. Garden Terror, Odin, Archon, and Siege Giants. The defense is doing what they can to prevent them from taking the keep. But damn, what a play now. Bot lane, Falstad, yep, together with Blaze, he's doing his thing. They're defending well. I don't think they're going to lose a keep here. So they prevent the worst from happening, and now they have level 16 talents. So they haven't really given up on this game yet, neither should they. But this is still a wild one. Yeah, here comes the wall. Sylvanas jumped out. Stun, did not connect properly from Hogger. And the damage here is not there. So they're going to lose multiple heroes now. The blue team is really... They are on a hunt. They're trying to get it here. Don't tell me they can't get a single kill. I mean, damn, son, come on. Everybody is so low. Brightwing working overtime. But why is nobody dying? Diablo, low. He's going to fall. Or is he? Are you kidding me? Tychus is finally dead. They're trying to get more... It's unbe-fucking-believable. Really? 1 kill? 1? I mean, kudos to Ugly Gary for getting out of this with only one hero dying. But if you have nothing else to do, you gotta do more than that. You gotta get more than one kill. Are you shitting me? A single kill in that situation. Falstad, I would have loved for him to fly in Gust, but he didn't have his cooldowns ready for it either. But that is a bit of a disaster. So 5 versus 4 now. Falstad is back. They're still a level behind. But damn, they cannot be content with this. A single... They should have at least killed 3 heroes there. So, good defense. Good moves by Ugly Gary, I guess. But what else? Can they bring this back? Now, again, they got Falstad, so they got the global. They got Sylvanas, so once that they have some momentum, they can build on it with her. But they gotta get that momentum first. And currently, I have a hard time seeing where they're gonna get it outside of winning a team fight. And that last one was such a big opportunity and they didn't take advantage of it. So this could get very nasty. But alright, again, let's wait this one out. They're trying to at least go for their own camps now. This is something that I struggled with a bit earlier. I think one of my biggest problems at this point is the big lead in experience. If you're taking a look at the experience gain, look at the passive experience. That's a 5,500 experience gap in passive experience because of all of the forts that were taken down. So they gotta do more there. They gotta destroy a couple of forts. They can't just simply sit tight. Now, the good news for them is this seed doesn't matter because the opponent already, well, only has 1, so you can let this one go. But they have to now wait for level 20. So they're very likely going to play extremely passive from here on out. Just try to not be forced into fights. Use Falstad, get to 20, give this seed up, and hope to fight for the next one. And I don't know what Jojo was trying to do here, probably trying to interrupt, but you should play this very, very, very slow. Falstad was getting into position to fly and gust to save the day here, didn't really have to. But of course, they now have to be quick in getting to level 20, because the next seed is going to be another Garden Terror wave, and that one they have to fight for. That one they have to go for. They can't let that one slide either. And Falstad is at least trying to take the top fort now, but at the bottom of the map, they're like, boys, we got the Twilight Archon. Actually, I'm lying. They got the Force Barrier. But we got the big red button, so let's go. And, well, that's a wall. Sylvanas got out. Nice. Good girl. She made it. Falstad has taken the top fort. Are they going to lose the keep at the bottom of the map, though? The birdie is still flying. The birdie is still going for it. He needs to be here. He needs to be on the side lane. He needs to get the experience. And the seed has spawned. The keep has fallen. They have 1 fight, guys. 1 fight is pretty much all they have. Whoever takes the Garden Terrors is gonna have a good spot. It's all about the Garden Terrors from here on out. If the red team takes it, this should be game. If the blue team is able to somehow grab it, then they have a chance to bring it back. But they still don't have level 20. There's the wall. Alright, the tanks are taking damage. Diablo is making a play for Jojo. They still don't have level 20. It's close, but it's not there yet. Hogger poking! Can he get it? Falstad, does he have his ult? It's not his ult. Does he have barrel? Yeah, try to go for the kill. Barrel's in, and Hogger is down. Hogger is dead. Hogger is dead. That's a big step. And they got level 20. This is the opportunity. Mom Spaghetti, here we go. This is the one chance that they have. And they lose Sylvanas. Why? The bird flies and gets immediately polymorphed. Insta-poly, insta-kill. Oh, they just threw it again, didn't they? They haven't even picked their level 20s yet. They had level 20 for a while now. They haven't even picked them yet. Tassadai is dead, but I think they're going to lose more now. Yeah, Tychus is down, and that should be the end. This is the end of game number 4. Ah, they got a chance there. They really had a chance. That was a big opportunity. I don't even know why they're wasting time. Ah, well, they have 2 heroes that died. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, that's just tragic. They had an opportunity to end the game. They killed Hogger. All they had to do was not be greedy. And that's a big problem, apparently, for nothing else to do. Not being greedy. They ended this position in the first place because they got too greedy. Now some of the catapults are damaging the core. Minion Wave are gonna take it down eventually. but yep, this should be game. There's the Garden Terrors. And there were so many opportunities. After Hogger died, all they had to do was just play it safe, not die, take the seed, maybe another kill, and you're golden. Falset flying in that aggressively was also too much of a risk. Brightwing saw it coming. Polymorph was instantaneous, and then they just blew him up. So yeah, core's already down to 75%, and obviously this is going to be, or should be, the nail in the coffin. Now Tazza isn't here yet. He's on his way. But so are the Garden Terrors, and all of those keeps are gone. It's Winion time. Oh boy, yeah, Sylvanas dying was a huge problem. So by now we have 2 keeps down, top keep is gonna fall. Here comes the big red button, and the Twilight Archon is gonna be ready any second as well. And this is game. We have another tie in the best of 7, so nicely done. Nice back and forth, I like it. Blue team, they had a chance. They were 5 kills to 0 ahead, and then it just got hyper greedy and lost the game because of it. Hogger is pogging Sylvanas down. This is leading us into game number 5 of the best of 7 series. And it is still a blow for blow best of 7 with another tie at a 2-2 score as Ugly Gary takes the map. Game number 5, the series is tied again. Yeah, this is going back and forth here. We have Battlefield of Eternity as our 5th map. And it's an interesting series. It's kind of wild. In this tournament, we had so many games that went just blow for blow. A team coming in with a reverse sweep attempt, forcing the 5th map after initially losing 2. It's kind of crazy. So let's see what we're going to get. We have, with Battlefield of Eternity, a map where normally it lends itself a lot more to team fighting. So I don't really know. Technically, I want to say this benefits Nothing Else to Do a little bit, but the games have honestly been all over the place. Team fights in particular, so it's a little bit tough to tell. So Diablo gets banned out. You can definitely tell that there is slowly but steadily a bit of a meta evolving between the 2 teams here. The Genji ban also doesn't shock me in the slightest, considering that Genji was exceptionally well played on particularly Tomb of the Spider Queen by Nothing Else to Do, so they get rid of him. He's another good one for Battlefield of Eternity. But what about Alarak, for example? Because if I'm not mistaken, then Ugly Gary played Alarak in one of their previous matches on Battlefield of Eternity. They already showcased earlier that they want to play him, and Nothing Else to Do has banned him out quite a few times. Now, they decide in favor of Hogger, so Alarak would most likely be their 3rd ban, unless, of course, the red team prioritizes him so highly that they're just saying, you know what, guys, let's pick him immediately. Now, Vala banned. You can really tell that it's shifting more and more into them just picking away or banning away the damage dealers here. But in comes the Haka as an early pick. For Battlefield, this is always a bit weird to me because it reminds me of the old days when HGC just started, where the Haka was a thing here. And the idea behind the Haka in Battlefield of Eternity was always to have a little bit more experience, get to level 10, just half level before your opponent does, and then use that to win the objective around level 10 and snowball it from there. So, not quite sure. Like, the Haka priority on Battlefield, I don't really agree with it. I'm not saying you can't play him here, but using him as your first pick always seems to be a bit over the top. Now we got Stukov, we got Jojo. Again, they like the Stukov a lot. And, well, at the same time, we got Varian and Hanzo. Okay, so the stage is already set a bit. If you're going for Varian, I mean, you could now try to taunt into a meme strike. And Hanzo obviously is fantastic against the Immortal, but if you're going for a taunt into a meme strike, if you time that properly, you can do a lot. What I'm wondering is, what are we gonna get as the support? Now they're banning out Rhaegar. You can combo a variant with Anduin, or you can of course try and get any kind of support that allows you to get a stun in. Could even be Brightwing just with a polymorph. But yeah, any kind of CC as a follow-up from Varian's taunt is going to be pretty good. The Haka with the Tong, if he's there. Oh, and they ban Greymane. Alright. Alarak, yes or no? up to now, Ugly Gary picked Alarak whenever they had the chance. Which didn't really have a whole lot of... which didn't happen often. But here's an opportunity. And they played him before on this map. You can already see how they're quite hesitant with a double pick here. Okay, they go for Blaze. And Jimmy. This is one of the things that I actually love in this meta, that these guys are still playing Jimmy. Jimmy was played, oh god, was it twice, once at the Heroes International? But here we've now seen him a few times. And I'm a fan. Jimmy gets played on battlefields. Would of course expect to go for the Exterminator. But yeah. They need to make sure that he has also a decent position. Ooh, and we get a Li Ming and a Malfurion. Look at that. Roots after the taunt. I like it. And Li Ming for the damage. He can also be used in those stalemate positions around the objective, and everybody's just attacking the Immortal. I like it. It's not the draft that I expected from Nothing Else to Do, but this has definitely potential. If you go for good coordination around your taunts, you can try for quick kills and team fights, and you also have a lot of poke pressure against the Immortal and therefore the objective. Junkrat is the final pick. Alright, Battlefield of Eternity, everybody. Map number 5, one of the two teams is going to pull ahead. So far, Nothing Else to Do was ahead twice. Can they do it again? Let's find out. Game number 5 in the best of 7. And we got Hanzo Li Ming for the damage for the blue team. Varian with the taunt follow-up from Malfurion and the Haka on the side lane. Yeah, it is definitely an aggressive draft that they have. Good poke against the Immortal. A lot of team fight potential, so let's see if they can once again pull ahead a bit in this best of 7 series in the losers bracket of the Skyline Cup. Over on the right side, we get on level 1 the ace in the hole. Alright, so they want to go for Jimmy with more team fight damage than I expected. We have Jojo, we got Blaze. The combo is starting to get real popular over here. Maybe with a bit of a delay in the Skyline Cup, but it's there. And we got Stukov once again as the follow-up. But this should be a fairly interesting game. And I'm personally happy that Jimmy is here. I like Jimmy. It was always nice when Jimmy with Exterminator was played on this map, when everybody was just like trying to have as this niche pick on Battlefield of Eternity. But yeah, this could be an interesting one now. Depends a lot on how Varian is going to play this. And also how, especially Junkrat counters this. I mean, there's of course a bit of displacement that both teams have available to them. That could have been a kill. So Jimmy got off easy there for just a moment. But yeah, bit of a battle here between our solo laners. Nothing too crazy. It's always the move from the Haka that we're waiting for when he uses his global. But the first one to fall is Varian. Okay, Varian gets crushed. And that is first blood for Ugly Gary. They've been behind in this series twice. 2 times they had to catch up. Can they now pull ahead? Is this the moment when they're gonna flip it and take the lead in the best of 7? Or are we gonna have Nothing Else to Do, pull ahead once again, and then Ugly Gary has to win 2 in a row in order to lock the series in and move on in the losers bracket? Obviously, whoever loses here is out of the tournament. I mean, duh. But the teams are starting to make moves for the camps. The first one has been taken down here. Up at the top, it looks pretty decent for the red team, so they're walking away with both. So they take 2 camps, and that's a pretty good start. Now, they're not going to get too much out of that, but it's small things that matter over time, if you can continue that. It should have been a trade, but it wasn't. So off to a small lead, most likely not going to be too significant. Yeah, the Haka wants the drag and just barely misses it. Jet propulsion is already out. Jimmy is now going for the fight or flight, and hello? Alright, Hanzo just got killed by the objective. Well, by the mini objective, by the mercenary camp. Yeah, so that just happened. Yeah, he's not going to be too happy about that. So level 4, half level lead, both teams going for the camp, and now we're going to get the taunt. And that's the opportunity to maybe win a couple of these team fights. Taunt is in, Li Ming is getting her aimbot ready. Let's see what they can do with it. But yeah, losing one of your heroes to the mercenary camp, not quite what you're normally looking for. Okay, so now that Taunt is in, this should look a little bit better for them. But for now, it is a full-on focus by the red team onto the objective. Now, they are up against Hanzo, so he should be able to chunk that down very quickly, but it's actually the blue team that loses the hit points on the objective way quicker. I mean, damn. That halftime show wasn't even a contest. Bot lane has already been defeated, so that thingy shaman camp didn't do anything. So far, it's looking really good for Ugly Gary. It is looking shockingly good for Ugly Gary. They are now on the offense, trying to get some hits in here. But Hanzo is all alone trying to hit this one, and he's doing some work, but definitely not enough to turn this one around. So this is not looking pretty for the blue team. Ugly Gary is currently taking a pretty solid lead. They win the first objective. They have 2 kills to 0. They took both of the camps earlier. And yep, that's a great start. That's the moment when nothing else to do should be at least a little bit concerned. Be like, guys, we need to play a bit more around our taunt and get a couple of kills in. This is getting dangerous. There's not anything to worry about too much just yet. It's not a big shield, it's only a small one. But they're gonna get level 7 any moment, so the wall will fall. I doubt they're gonna get much more than that. But still, it's a small but significant lead for the red team. Now they have level 7, the unstable compound. Bit of damage on the fort. Shouldn't be too much. Jojo with the conviction over here. Yeah, they got a third of the hit points removed. But Varian is already trying to go for another play, and he can't execute that one either. Was attempting to flank in and maybe set up a kill. But it didn't quite work out that way. So, still half a level ahead. Camps are now back up. Could try and make a move for those. And Varian gets booped in, so he's immediately in trouble. But there's the root, there's the taunt. They're trying to pressure Stukov. Didn't work out the way that they intended to, and instead it's all of a sudden Hanzo that has to jump back out. So you can tell that the blue team is looking for an opportunity to get a bit ahead here. Bit of damage from Liming as she's unleashing one comp after another. And, well, she actually went on level 7 also into Zay's Vengeance. The fuck? No Calamity for our girl. With that build? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. Like, Calamity gives you a bit of extra damage, and if you try to blow a target up with a taunt, then that's kind of what you're looking for. So, yeah, they at least try and take the camp down here, and the blue team gets it. Can they get a kill? Ah, with that drag, they definitely can. Beautifully done by the Haka. First blood for nothing else to do. So they take out the support. Well done. It's actually Malfurion that took him down. But, yeah, not too shabby. So, ooh, hello, kill number 2, don't mind me. And Blaze is also running straight into the Liming combo. So, they get their kills, and that is finally a bit of a sign of life, of nothing else to do here. As they have the Haka still waddling over to the top lane. Has a bit more experience to lock in, but the objective is now up. And at this point, you would assume that they can do a bit more damage here. They are not only early to the objective, but they also now got Hanzo doing his thing. Liming is going to try and capitalize a bit on the level 7 talent to get more damage out here onto the objective as well. It's more of a race now. It's definitely way more of a race. Both of them dead even at this point. But yeah, the Haka has done some work at the top lane and has got another minion wave in down here. They're trying to get a kill. The taunt, not quite able to take Blaze down, but they got close for just a second. The Haka nearly stunned into the Immortal stun, but he was able to walk away from it. But the fight is not over by any means. No, this battle has just started. They're trying again with the drag. Oh, they nearly got the Blaze kill. They got so close, but instead it's the Haka that gets punished for his sins. Gets dropped by Reyna. Jimmy with a play. Still a lot of poke damage against the backline as they're hoping to get a hit in against Reyna. Didn't quite work, but they still might win the objective. They get some combos out. Ah, look at Hanzo. He nearly got the kill on Jojo. Was obviously aiming for the Immortal more than anything else, but still, that got dangerous for the frontliner of Ugly Gary. So here we are. We got level 10 on both sides. No big surprises yet. Is it the meme strike? Arrow or meme strike? It's the arrow. And Disintegrate. Yeah, that's another weird one. Disintegrate is usually a talent that you only find in the European or the Western scene when you're up against the Nuborok, so that you get the cooldown trade against the Cocoon. Over here, the problem is that you get a self-stun, and the second issue is also it doesn't allow you to make these big playmaker moves that you normally can pull off with Liming. Arrow from Hanzo. I didn't get anything out of that. So Liming's build is definitely a bit out there. Can of course help them with a bit more PvE damage, but at least for the team fights, it's not quite that great for her. So we'll see if they can make some plays with it. Maybe lasering them down here is going to work, but with the objective, they weren't even able to take the fort down, so the fort is currently still in play. Same now also true down here at the bottom of the map. Got the isolation through, but that doesn't stop Blaze. Now, they are controlling the choke point, at least, and with all that poke, Ugly Gary is realizing that that angle of approach is not really working too well for them. Yep, still too much poke happening. Need to, of course, keep Malfurion a bit safe, but yeah, even double checking what's happening with a little bush over there. But that's a camp that they can now maybe even use to take the fort down, and that would be the first structure to fall in this game. On the damage side, we have 27,000 from Hanzo, 21,000 from Junkrat. But yep, here we go. They're poking and poking and poking and doing their best to annihilate the first fort of the game. Still a bit of a leading experience for Ugly Gary, but yeah, this one is gone. Fort down, and therefore the fountain destroyed. Oh, that's an arrow, but where's the follow-up? God, these kids need to communicate a bit better. Can you imagine a root from Malfurion being used after the arrow stun connects? If that happens, it's a double kill. That's what they needed there. If they communicate these plays a little bit better, I think they have the chance to get quite a few kills. Now of course the arrow is down for the objective, but god, this would have been so good. The angle was great, they didn't see that coming at all. And then the stun is there, and if they can just communicate better and have Malfurion ready and in range, it's a double kill for sure. But, well, that didn't happen, so now they go for the objective again. They got the poke. Yeah, Tranquility had to be used early. Dehaka moves away. Bunker is also out, and it blocks the path of our boy Varian. And with a Riptire, Junkrat is putting an end to him. They have a level 13 talent advantage now, and job well done. So here we are. They are the ones in the lead on the objective, but they also just lost their main tank. He is thankfully soon back in action, so it's not going to take too long, but it's still going to take them a little bit. And Jimmy has now moved up towards the top to damage the Immortal here. But, hello? Hanzo? Yeah, he got popped. He came in and bam! Stun, damage, and that's the end of Hanzo. Oh, Liming! Glass cannon as well. Alright, girl. Show us how it's done. Liming is going glass cannon too. Yeah, not too bad. With that, they're also now trying to get another kill down here at the bottom of the map. Dehaka is also getting nearly murdered. But we got a glass cannon Liming with a full orb build and disintegrate. The poke continues. Blue team is losing a fair bit of ground here. They're trying to get a kill. Big arrow, but it's too late. The double kill. The triple kill. Yeah, he's not going to make it. He's also going to die. So we have Dehaka, Malfurion, and Varian fall in that fight. And this objective for Ugly Gary is now a lot more dangerous than what they previously faced. Not only did it scale well into the mid game, but also the shield is much, much bigger. That's the opportunity to take not only the top fort down, but maybe even snowball this a bit further. And in experience, they are getting quite the lead now. 1.5 levels is not too bad. So, guys, this might be the game where Ugly Gary starts to take control of the series. So far, they've been trailing behind the entire time, but this is the opportunity. Down here, Blaze definitely wants to have that fort, and he's gonna get it. So that's 2 forts gone, and therefore, Ugly Gary has just now taken the lead in structures. They already had the lead in experience, and they will soon lock in level 16 talents, but now they are ahead in structures as well. So, yep, this is looking better and better for them. We got now the Pain in Red. big arrow, big miss. I don't mind that one too much, honestly. If that arrow connects, the Haka has a chance to get maybe another drag connected and they can get a kill here. And it's also outside of the objective, so they have to take some risks here. It's not too bad. They're fully ignoring Li Ming, by the way, but if any Riptide hits her later, she's gonna be gone. And look at this, Riptide is putting her to 50% pretty much. Yeah, Blaze playing it safe. She has the thingy, glass cannon after all. But they're 2 levels behind now, and it's 9 kills to 2. Yeah, exactly. So that's a 7-kill lead at this point. And where's the damage at? Li Ming has 40,000. They just can't get the kills on her. And we have 35,000 for Junkrat, 21,000 for Jimmy. And they are controlling the game. The gap in experience is just too big. They need a team fight. They need a big one. 2 levels at this point in time. I mean, damn. Once you have level 16, you might be able to fight for the next objective. But level 20 is another problem that you have to face eventually. And even here, half a minute that should give them level 16. Maybe they're going to lose out on position for the next objective, but that should be about it. Everybody's still going for the camp. The one move that I could have seen from Ugly Gary is trying to make a play for this one. And apparently they're still considering it. They're still trying to steal the camp away. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a smart play. Trying to take this one now, steal it away. Now it's 2 Shaman camps that the blue team has to deal with, and that definitely gives you the edge on the next objective. Even if level 16 is taken. So, yeah, matters are getting worse for nothing else to do. They're really having some trouble now. And that's a halftime show victory. 16, I mean, if you go AWP, then you go full AWP. Not quite sure about Varian here. Yeah. I was actually expecting a much faster follow-up and also a Blessed Shield to take advantage of the opportunity and take him down. But here we are. Riptire. Yeah, drops on Malfurion, and goodbye Varian. This time the Blessed Shield was used and it connected. So Varian is dead. That's 10 kills to 2. And boy, oh boy, is that a big objective. Oh my god. It is massive. That's what she said. And that is gonna likely be the end of the bottom keep. I mean, 2 levels ahead. The stats advantage alone is crazy. And now you have, at the 15-16 minute mark, 100% shield Immortal saying hello to your bot lane. You can kiss this one very likely goodbye. Unless they somehow get an easy hit. I mean, the problem is that Hanzo doesn't even have his ult. So Hanzo doesn't have his ult, meaning he can't go for a stun that Li Ming can capitalize on. Unless she's making a monster play and connects a full combo on a target that she can blow away. It's gonna be the end of the keep. And it might be more. If they get kills here, it's gonna be more than that. The Haka waiting in the wings. Interesting that nobody checked it, but I'm not sure if he's gonna move in for it. They got at least a couple of traps on the side. But yeah, keep doesn't stand a chance. There's the drag. It hits on our boy Jimmy. He's still fine though. And they can still not save that keep. Can they save the core? That's the bigger question, because that's still on the menu. If you get a kill, you can go core here. But I think they're gonna play it safe for level 20. Yeah, they're not making any moves on this. Alright, so they're still playing this one safe. They want level 20. Core is not losing any hit points. Shield has been scratched. They're gonna try and poke this wall down a little bit further so that if they win another Immortal, they get this keep for sure. And since they are also half a level away from level 20, that's of course a play you can make. Instead, what we're getting is another kill on Varian. He gets blown up again. Jet propulsion. Finally, I love that they're finally playing Blaze. I've been talking a bit about this earlier, that Blaze was not really played a whole lot. And yes, in this case, he gets punished. But they're finally using these jet propulsions and the Blaze plays to get additional kills. And it worked so well against the front line of the blue team. It's 6 kills against Varian. So in this case, they kind of traded. The Haka and Varian died. So did Blaze. But the fight is still ongoing. It's Li Ming that is trying to get away here. That arrow, on the other hand, was pretty sexy. So they get the arrow, but it's not enough to allow Li Ming to get additional kills and resets. And there's level 20. So with that, we have the upgrade for Jojo. We also get the Cannonball, Radiating Faith, top off, Fortified Bunker, And that's a 2-level gap still. So the blue team will have to fight the next objective against an opponent that has a Storm Talent advantage. And that is never nice. You got the Duskwing in. But yeah. Here's the announcement. And this is gonna get ugly very quickly. This is the last chance of the blue team to try and make a comeback here. It's the last opportunity that they're gonna get. They have to win the objective or it is lights out. Not in the series, but at least on the map. And what should concern the blue team is that this would then also be the first time that Ugly Gary pulls ahead. So right now, camps are getting taken. They're not invading. Or are they? They're checking. Yeah, alright. But they're a bit too late this time. They're not too late for the objective. So they're moving in quickly to win the halftime show, which is not a real problem for them. Now, thankfully, of course, Hanzo has now taken position and is at least chunking some arrows out that help them to close that gap a little bit. Yeah, Jojo already looking for that blessed shield, but instead they can now try and prevent the blue team from poking too hard. They are burning this down quickly, and it is, of course, the inevitable result. Objective goes to Ugly Gary. It is a 50% shield. Now, it could be worse. Nobody's dealing with this, but I think the catapult should be able to deal with it together with the entire minion wave that just spawned in. So now it's about the top lane, and this is really where we're going to see the next keep fall. The only question really is, can they finally end the game here? Because not only are they now in possession of a 50% shield immortal, but they got level 20. And that's the big one. So right now, here's the moment, here's the play. Here's the chance to end the game before the blue team gets level 20. And they're looking at a drag from the Haka again. So yeah, he's looking for it here from the side. But the keep falls quickly. Very quickly. Now they know where the Haka is too. So he didn't have the chance to move on this either. But this is getting real dangerous real quickly. Not all... Oh, Varian, not again! No, the Tranquility, the arrow from Hanzo buys him enough time, but the core is getting attacked. Yeah, they lost a lot of time on the defense now. They still don't have level 20. Varian still in trouble. Jet Propulsion, goodbye, my friend. 7 deaths on Varian, and that is the lead in the series for Ugly Gary. For the first time, they pulled ahead. GG. Infernal Shrines, map number 6. Hey guys, this is the first match point. Match point for Ugly Gary. So, can they pull it off? They're in the lead for the first time. For the first time in the best of 7, they're in the lead. We are in the loser's bracket. Whichever team drops the series is out of the tournament. So here's the opportunity. Genji gets banned, Stukov gets banned, no hesitation on either one. And again, the big question mark is Alarak. Is Alarak going to be banned? Is Alarak going to be picked if they have a chance? It's another map where you have a lot of choke points. You have the entry points towards the shrines where you could use them too. And we know that Ugly Gary likes to play him. And on the second ban already, we have some hesitation from Nothing Else to Do. Now, Vala is, of course, another big question mark here. Is she going to get banned? Yes or no? It's going to be Ugly Gary to ban her out, if need be. The Haga gets eliminated for now. Okay. And let's have at it. Vala ban or no Vala ban? I'm actually surprised that they are hesitating. Okay, there it is. For just a second, I thought maybe they let her through. Didn't really believe in it, but yeah. Miracles do happen. Okay, so, stage is set. First pick, what's it gonna be? Infernal Shrines, another map where, of course, Diablo, Tychus would be a good rotation. They love to go for Tychus and Diablo as a bit of a tag team. We're starting things off with Hogger, so he can poke it out on the shrine. But I wouldn't really be shocked to see Diablo Tychus. It gives you Diablo for a lot of wall stuns. It gives you Tychus so that he can't be played against Diablo. And then at the same time, you also have the Tacit Transformation. And there it is. They love that particular meta style. And there we go. Diablo Tychus to kick things off. I'm pretty sure that they are fairly happy with this double pick. Now, what do we get for the blue team. Jojo, is it going to be a Blaze pick? Or do they go full triple frontline? No, they go for Greymane for now. Now, they played Tychus and Tacita earlier, and honestly, this is another map where you could do that. You already have a Diablo. If you add Tychus now, I mean, it would be very similar draft to what they played on Garden of Terror, right? So they could do that too here. Get the force wall out so that they have additional walls where Diablo can stun heroes into, try and drive a wedge between the opponent's team, allow for the double transformation with Tychus and also Tacita. So it's an option. They ban Aurega, and we still have the Alora question to answer. Ban or no ban? Nope, they ban Blaze. Getting a little bit tired of permanently being stunned here. Leo instead. Okay. But what else is it gonna be? On the support side, you can still go... Okay, they go Brightwing. I was about to say, you have still quite a few options of what you can pick here as a support if you want to control the entrance. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, even Alexstrasza, we've seen her, I think, once? Twice? In this tournament? I'm not quite sure. Meta is a little bit different, obviously, than what we see in the West, but a Dragon Queen transformation can be quite powerful too, if used properly. But if I remember correctly, the last time that they played it was pretty much a disaster. And there she is! Alexstrasza! Alexstrasza and Imperius. So we get our triple frontline. Imperius makes an entrance, and final pick now. Is it going to be a Tacita? Are they going to go for the triple frontline themselves? What's the play? But we got Jojo, Imperius, and Hogger, so quite the statement. And it is Tacita! Yes, there it is. Tacita is in the house once again. Match point number 1 for Ugly Gary, everybody. Let's see if they can win the series, move on to the next round of the losers bracket here in the Skyline Cup, or if nothing else to do, takes the win on Infernal Shrines. Match point for Ugly Gary. Nothing else to do. They have to dig deep now. We have them at the front line with Jojo, Imperius, and Hogger, as Greymane is contributing most of the damage, and we got Alexstrasza, the Dragon Queen. All transformation heroes are in the game now. For the red team, we have Diablo. He's gonna rely on his wall stuns, of course, and that's where Tacita comes into play. But Tacita also, for the Archon transformation, we have Tychus into Odin, got Brightwing, and we got Leoric. So, here it is. Level 1, by the way. Look at that. We get the Soul Shield. Soul Shield for Diablo. Tychus starting things off with a grenade, and Alexstrasza with a Circle of Life. Not gonna lie, every single time I see the Circle of Life, I just want to see a Stitches that capitalizes on the globes with his level 1 talent and then gets fed insanely into the late game. It's one of the most fun ARAM combos that you can possibly go for, but at the same time, we have seen a few of those in actual games. Now, nothing on the highest level, but it's always funny if you're in a late game and you have a Stitches running around with 13, 14,000 hit points and it's pretty much unkillable, so yeah. But either way, we got now our lanes already split. Obviously, this is potentially for the big W. If Ugly Gary is able to take it, then they will move on in the losers bracket to the losers bracket final. Camps are up, and that's where the teams are immediately focusing their attention. Alexstrasza with the 3 stacks here on the Circle of Life. So yeah, definitely here for this one. Diablo can be pretty massive on this map. And he has a lot of heroes at the front line that are going to try and fuck with him a little bit. And not only do you have Greymane that can bullet away, but you also have stuns with Imperius in particular, but also Jojo with her slows, and I would expect that we get the Blessed Shield again from her. Anything else would honestly surprise me, given the opponent's lineup. But then again, once level 10 is in, Archon and Odin are pretty tough to beat. Now obviously you can always make the argument, yeah, just walk away from it, but then you give up objective after objective. Talking about walking away, Leo's walking away from this one. So, yeah, here we are. The second camp is just given up. So they're not even fighting for this, they're just letting it go. The 10 is now in. We got the Souls to the Flame, we got the Electric Fence again, and even the Ghastly Reach for Leoric. So very likely that we're gonna see him also with a level 13 and 16 tile to capitalize on that. Bit of an adjustment though with the press forward here from Imperius. Okay. And yeah, given that Alexstrasza is trying to provide a bit of synergy here, that can definitely make sense. You're gonna have access to a lot more globes, especially around those team fights once that she's done with her quest reward. So this could be a pretty interesting one for Imperius to take advantage of. But yep, we got again the Master Assassin on level 4 for Tychus. The first objective and the second objective are, well, mostly the first one. The first objective is going to be a bit interesting in the sense that without level 10, how much is the red team really going to fight for this one? How much are they willing to commit? Are they just going to sit tight and say, okay, as long as we get to level 10 at the same speed as our opponent does, we're going to be fine here? Or are they going to really commit fully to objective number 1? And currently it looks like they actually do. So there's already nice damage on the front line of Nothing Else to Do. And this is now turning into a 4 versus 4, but Alexstrasza is now in position and is starting to do some work as well. We get, by the way, the Insatiable, and we got the Wolfheart over here for Greymane, so also some adjustments being made by him. Level 7 is soon going to be in play. But yeah, the party continues over here. Yeah, especially with that wall stun. Nicely done by Diablo, and it nearly costs Hogga his life. He needs to be very careful here. Brightwing is saving Leo. That's always a hero that you can technically just sacrifice. But with Alexstrasza popping the Dragon Queen, it's the upper hand for Nothing Else to Do on the objective. And it should result in them getting the first thingy. Punisher. That's the word that I'm looking for. So yeah, so they get the Arcane Punisher, the Mortar Punisher, the other one. And Imperius is continuing with the Holy Fervor here. Yeah, nice bait over the wall. Talking about walls, the fence is out. And they're burning this down fairly quickly. Alexstrasza completes her quest at the 4-minute mark. And Leo is activating his trait in the mid lane. Trait activation completed. They might complete a kill here. Greymane. Oh, okay. Grenade was not enough to take him down, but it got close. Level 8 already in for Nothing Else to Do. Still very, very close in this game. Now Leo's obviously back pretty quickly this early on. He's not out for long here. But the next objective is the one that I really am interested in, because that's when we have both teams with level 10. Unless somebody snowballs this completely. So, unless we're all of a sudden looking at one team taking nearly a 5-man wipe and then taking a mad lead in this game, it should be heroic abilities for both of them. Brightwing gets murdered here. That's a good start. That's the second kill for Nothing Else to Do. And they're gonna get a third one if they're lucky. Yep, they are. Well, good play by Hogga. So that's 3 kills, 2-0. And the camp down here, yeah, they're gonna give it up. Wow. Talking about a game that's going badly. Yeah, if you have a match point, this is not how you want to start it. Level 10, and I think I might eat my words here. 4 kills to 0 on early level 10, and look at the snowball. Yeah. They are crushing this. That bottom 4 should fall, and there's still a camp in the mid lane. Alexstrasza, of course, with the life binder. If they get... Oh my god, are you serious? Yes, of course, they're getting Tassadar. Tassadar is dead, 5 kills to 0. Then again, we've been here before. The last time that Nothing Else to Do was this far ahead. Did he just activate his ult? Yes, he did. The last time that we were in this big of an advantage for Nothing Else to Do, they decided to throw it away with both hands. So I'm not trusting this at all. But maybe this time they can play it a little bit more cautious and actually take it. So... yeah, half a level to 10. It's still going to be level 10 abilities for both teams on the next objective. And if Ugly Gary can really rock their combo and win the objective and push with it, you know, then we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a Lightning Breath, Archon, and the Odin transformation is in. And they're even trying to get a kill before that. Okay, and they get it. Hogga is down. Greymane is down. Greymane is down. And they might even get more than that. Oof, that Iron Skin came in the nick of time. that could have been a problem. So the first kill is in. Ugly Gary, they lost structures. They lost the fort at the bottom of the map, but now they're starting to play this a bit more aggressively in the middle. They should be careful that they're not playing this too aggressive. Are you kidding me? Like, why would you do that to yourself? Tacita down, Leo trying for the Entomb to slow them down a little bit further, and sacrifices of life as well. I mean, come on, you're memeing, right? What? You get a kill and then you decide to commit Sudoku on their wall. For what exactly? To drop the gate? I mean, come on, boys. You are better than that. Now they are giving up the objective. You are playing Archon and Odin, and you don't take advantage of it on the objective. Instead, you just commit suicide over here. Alright, fair. Okay. Alright. Nope. Yeah, that is a big no. At least he got the Odin out. Tazza doesn't have his ult back yet. 24 stacks, so they're fighting for it. They have everybody here. But let's see what they can do. Brightwing with the Emerald Wind, by the way, didn't go into the heals. And, well, Leo barely alive. Rest of the team is also falling back. 10 seconds until Tazza has his ult back up. Here comes Diablo. Big barbecue, baby. Big barbecue. And they get the double kill. Alright, so they get 2 kills. 30 stacks to 5. Tacita has his Archon. This game is wild. I mean, Ugly Gary should not be in this position in the first place, but at least now that they're here, they seem to be trying to make the best out of it. So it's level 13 talent advantage for nothing else to do. They're still hoping to get the objective here, but Jojo gets trapped a bit. 31 to 20 stacks, and they can't lose Johanna like this. Jojo's about to go down. What? Okay. Alright, so Jojo's alive and has full hit points again. The objective is still likely taken by Ugly Gary, but this is... I mean, it was a ruse all along, guys. Ugly Gary, you know, they actually didn't commit suicide. They baited them. They tried to give them a false sense of security and confidence, and then they took it away, and now they are pushing with the Punisher and also with Tacita's Archon. That's the real play here. So, yeah, these are some IQ 200 plays that we just cannot understand. Ugly Gary, they are playing 40 chess at this point. They get the fort, and they are pushing maybe the top lane a little bit more, maybe the mid lane. Hogger's trying to steal some stuff down here. But yeah, so we had 7 kills to 3 and a 1-level lead for nothing else to do. Which means Ugly Gary does have their opponent exactly where they want them to be. Kappa. Alright. Let's see if they can stabilize this a little bit. They seem to be getting their kills now. They're closing the gap in experience quickly. Next objective should be a bit revealing. It's going to be one of these games where you have a clear idea in the draft. And in this case, this is to play with the objective around the... play with your heroic abilities around the objective, especially Tacita and Tychus. And for some reason, I believe this is going to be one of those games where every single time an objective is up, probably one of the two is going to be on cooldown. So, yeah. But okay. We'll see how this is going to pan out. For now, it's fairly even experience. Half-level lead for nothing else to do. Nothing that can't be bridged. Each team has lost a fort. And it's a bit of a trap attempt down here. Yeah, Hogger's pogging. This is a kill. Hogger just outplayed himself. Yep, so Hogger is down. He thought he was smart, but then he just got caught there. They wanted to go for the... Why Tacita? Like, why? Okay, so they're trying to get the fort. But that double ult, that's 2 big cooldowns that you just burned. I am not so sure if I'm on board with this. If you don't get that fort, this isn't worth it. And look at Diablo. Jesus, they do it again. They get the kill on Hogger, and then they sacrifice Odin and the Archon cooldown, and lose their tank. This can't be real. I mean, they're trolling at this point. So they just burned 2 big cooldowns, which they might get back for the objective. They lost their tank, in a 4 versus 5, and the idea was to push for the structure that they barely scratched. Okay. Now, the good news is they're gonna have the ults back in time for the next objective. So my apologies there, they timed it well. That was a nice move. I mistimed it. They're gonna have it just back in time, so all good on that front. But you can't just go into these 5 versus 4 fights and lose your main tank. Now he has to stack up, so we'll see what they can do on this one. But yeah, my apologies. They played it well with the objective cooldown. I thought the objective would actually spawn earlier than that. Diablo diving in a bit deep, nearly get caught by the entomb. Sorry, by the wall here. But yeah, this is now the time where you can pull a little bit ahead and really go for the transformation. And they go for the double. They go for the double, and they're trying to blow up Hogger, which nearly works for them. So he nearly died there. And the fight isn't over by any means. Instead, we have Diablo just going for a mad barbecue and trying to control Alexstrasza a little bit. But they're also losing hit points on Leo. Alexstrasza again with their ult. Nicely done. The problem is that Hogger is still low and he's not the only one. They can trade Leo here. Leo falling is not a big problem as long as you trade. And it seems like they're going to do exactly that. Greymane is dead. So is Tychus though. And Diablo is dead again. Diablo down. Leo about to fall. Jesus, this game is all over the place. Seems like we're going to see Leoric die. And that is now 3 kills to 1. Nicely done by nothing else to do. They get another objective and they should be able to also save their top lane. This could have been problematic if that camp plus the catapult had more time to do damage. But with Imperius now rotating in, this is going to put an end to that top lane push. Wall is opened up, but that's the only thing that they got. 35 stacks here. And they're just not able to make it work properly. Yep, they're just not able to make that work the way that they want to. They're trying time and time again, doing their best, but these fights are not going their way, even with the double transform. On the damage side, we got 50,000 damage for Tychus, 43,000 for Tassadar, even Leo is 40,000. But it just doesn't really matter because they're losing these fights. They can't break through this properly. They're always getting a kill, but then they trade badly and lose more heroes afterwards. And especially Leo is having a tough time. Now, they are trying to protect him a bit with the force wall here, and that's a decent entomb, but the life binder is ready immediately by Alexstrasza. Frozen Punisher, of course, completely negates the fort for now, and Diablo makes it back. Odin Tassadar used again, and I gotta admit that Odin and Tassadar are just fucking annoying to go up against. I mean, look at this. Ugly Gary is pulling that cooldown every time that they have a chance, and they're getting mad value out of it. But it's always the blue team that seems to inch a little bit farther towards victory. They have now more than a level lead. They have a 7 kill advantage. And, more importantly, they're getting closer to level 20. So, yeah. There it is. Up at the top, we got Imperius still pressuring this out further. But at the pace this is going, this is just incremental advantages that we're seeing here. Nothing else to do. They get a bit of a lead. And they can compound on those leads, and eventually they are gonna hit that level 20 Storm Talent, and with another objective spawning at the bottom of the map, this could be the first keep of the game. Now, as long as you don't take any keeps down, this isn't really over yet. Even when the keeps are gone, it increases the catapult pressure, but it doesn't give you the victory. So we've seen some crazy comebacks in the late game with 5-man's wipes happening. There's of course a couple of games in this particular series that come to mind there immediately. But it's still Ugly Gary's job now to try and bridge this experience gap. And it might need them to give up on one of their next objectives. Now we got the Shockwave upgraded into the Power Spike. Don't see that all the time either. We try to go for Leo. And Leo has, by the way, as expected, gone into the Royal Focus and also into the Omnis Wraith. Makes perfect sense with the Ghastly Reach as his level 4 talent. Top side, so now they're going to take the last remaining fort, as they should. It's not going to play a big role for the next objective. But experience that they can lock in, that will. So they're still in the camp, but that's definitely a must-make move. But while they are taking the camp, they are going to try for the bottom fort. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to get caught here. Now, going for the fort in the minion wave makes sense to me. But yeah, so they're falling back a little bit because they don't have vision and they're hearthing. But at the top, the blue team decides to go just for the wall. They're like, hey, if you want to trade, then we're here for it. If you want to trade, that's not a problem for us whatsoever. We're going to come in and trade keep for fort. That's fine. But that fort at the bot lane is actually going to fall now. So that was a pretty sexy move. It was a nice little move by Ugly Gary. And they will have level 20 for the next objective. And then we're talking Twilight Archon and Big Red Button. As long as they don't die here for no reason. Yeah, Entomb gets used. Don't ask me why. Please don't use your cooldowns. Just fall back. For the love of God, just take the 20. There it is. No Twilight Archon. We're getting the Force Barrier. They're saving everybody this time. Leo is still alive. A lot of ults have been used by the blue team. They were desperate and now they can turn it. Now they can fight. And they're nearly getting the kill. But Lifebinder is making the big moves here. That's still not too shabby. They're trying to get the kill over here. Wall stun attempt. Imperius still trying to get away. They're getting a little bit closer to lock this in now. But they are now all of a sudden the team that is pushing the agenda here. They already used the Big Red Button. Not sure if they should have maybe saved that for the objective. But they've done a lot of damage. A lot of the ults have been used. They could still play this out. But they don't have an ult up anymore. And the lead on the shrine goes to nothing else to do. So they have to fight this one. They haven't gotten a kill. They had a few opportunities. Leo has his Entomb back up as well. And we got Buried Alive now. And he gets it. Big one. Wall stun. There it is. Imperius getting attacked. And Alexstrasza is ready for the heals again. They turn it and they kill Leo. Leo is down. They're again on the run. Brightwing explodes. That's 2 heroes down. And they're not going to stop here. They want more. And they're going to get more. Tassadar turning it, trying to get the kill on Hogger, but Hogger survives, and it seems that Tychus was just baited out a little bit too much, so he is dead again. They go to the bot lane, they can get Hogger onto the shrine and get the Punisher, but they already want the keep. This is looking more and more like we might go to game number 7. That's actually kind of wild if you think about it. We had some 5-mappers in best of 5 series in this tournament already, but in a best of 7 going blow for blow every single game and ending up on map number 7, that is kind of nuts. Now we're not there yet, but it is looking very good for nothing else to do. This match point by Ugly Gary, not really working out for them. 79,000 damage for Tychus, 78,000 damage for Greymane. They're pretty much tied here. Yep, and here we go. 130,000 heals, by the way, by Alexstrasza now. Her ult and the Storm talent are delivering. Absolutely delivering. Brightwing is nowhere near that. Not even crossing over into the 6 digits yet. And instead, we get the core attack. Level 22 versus level 20. The bait into the middle. Trying to allow the fort as a keep to help with the defense. If they can get the kill here, no, it's a get. No, they do. They do. But Diablo dies, Brightwing dies, and that is the end of Leoric. And guys, it's going to be the end of the game. Well-deserved victory on map number 6 for nothing else to do. We are going the distance on this one. We're going the distance. We're going to game number 7, everybody. Nicely done, as nothing else to do. Locks in the W on Infernal Shrines and forces the final map of this series. Game number 7. Didn't really think that we would be here, but indeed we are. And Dragonshire is the map. The final map, everybody. Whoever wins this map goes on to the next round of the losers bracket. The losers bracket final, to be exact. And yeah, it's kind of crazy to me that we actually go the distance in the best of 7. That's pretty bonkers. So, I mean, I like it. It's awesome. But I still didn't really think that it would come to this. So, at this point, it's a bit of a toss-up. Whoever gets the better draft, any kind of play that you make at this point can win you the entire series. We've seen a lot of mistakes from both sides when they were ahead. They were too greedy. Both teams at points were just thinking, hey, we're ahead, let's try and capitalize on it. They went a bit too far, lost their advantage, and they were punished for it. It happened especially on Garden of Terror for the blue team. I mean, that one situation where they pretty much just lost the entire game was bonkers. They lost 2 camps, they lost 2 heroes, they lost a fort as a result. It was a disaster. But we had similar moments also on the side of Ugly Gary. They got a kill, they were pushing, especially on Infernal Shrines, for structures, and then they lost heroes too. So now we're on Dragonshire, and the first thing that happens is we get a global, we get Dehaka for the red team, as they are, of course, going to try and run now a bit of a side game there with Dehaka, trying to get him into the big team fights as well. But yeah, very, very curious how the draft is now going to pan out. One of the heroes that we haven't seen yet, for example, is Urel. And Urel is pretty decent on Dragonshire. Don't think we're going to see her. Doesn't really seem to vibe very well with what's being played here by all the boys and girls on the Asia server. But still, Urel in another context would be an option here now too. So Tigers gets chosen early. We get Johanna, which is already making for these guys Diablo a little bit less attractive. As I said previously, in the Western scene, teams would still consider it, and they just play around Tigers, but over here it's a little bit different. So normally it's a huge deterrent, and hence we have Nubarak as a pick and Junkrat. So already from the get-go, pretty much just saying like declaration of war. We're gonna dive, and we're gonna punish you. And Nubarak to dive in deep, and let's see if that works for them, because they could make it happen. But you got a Jojo that you gotta dive into, and Nubarak gets also chosen very early. They ban out Alarak, which I can understand. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Alarak chosen just in general, and a few times where they didn't ban him out. Ugly Gary did actually not pick him outside of the second game, but if you are going to game number 7, you want to remove any X-Factor plays that your opponent can make. Just have them play something a little bit more normal, more standard. So, Falstad gets banned, which removes a global. You could still go for Brightwing. But, yeah. I could have seen Muradin as a tank. Muradin on Dragonshire is pretty strong, but nobody goes for him here. Side laner, Blaze, is up. Could be chosen, but they go for the Leoric variation again. And here comes Rhaegar. So they can go for the camps, they got their support. On the other side, we could see Stukov. Stukov with the Nubarak, definitely solid. That would be a very good comp to take. So they could go for that for sure. Ah, sorry, Stukov is banned. I was already wondering why Stukov wasn't addressed earlier. And I missed it that he was banned on the first. So now we get Anduin. Light Bomb engage? With the Nubarak, or what's it going to be here? They go for Jimmy. Ooh, Jimmy on Dragonshire. We've seen him once today, and that was on Battlefield of Eternity. Oh, and Deathwing. Okay. Guys, here we are. Game number 7. The winner moves on in the losers bracket of the Skyline Cup. The loser of this series drops out of the tournament. Let's see who is able to advance. The final map in the series. Nothing else to do against Ugly Gary. It is game number 7. And it's time to crown not a champion, but a winner. So who's able to make it happen? We got Deathwing, we got Tychus opening things up actually with a dash here. Leoric, Jojo, and Rhaegar to complete the draft, whereas on the right side of the map, bit of a dive composition with Nubarak going to try and jump in deep. And on top of that, we got Anduin, we got Junkrat, Dehaka, and Jimmy. Jimmy with stacks, by the way. Veteran marksman for him. We've seen a few Jimmy games. I did not think we... first of all, I didn't even think we would go to game number 7, but I also didn't think that we would get Jimmy in the last and final game here. One thing, by the way, that I want to highlight real quickly, since we have a Deathwing picked into a Junkrat, there was a time in North America where pretty much every single time you would see a Deathwing, Junkrat was picked as a counter to him, and the teams would go for the Rocket Ride as their level 10. For a simple reason. The idea was always that Deathwing is so fat that you can always hit him. He cannot dodge. So you always get damage when you do that. And they were really putting pressure on Deathwing. Now I'm pretty sure that we're not going to see that here. But it's an interesting little tidbit of how meta evolves. And it's also something that I could have totally seen. I would honestly love if we would see an adjustment here. And then how the blue team reacts to it. Chances that this is happening are slim to none. I would think Riptire is going to be the weapon of choice here for Junkrat, but just a little bit of a tidbit here of what North America did for a very long time when they had a pairing like this where Junkrat would go up against Deathwing. Now, Field Deal to Death on level 1 for Leoric. Already talked a little bit about the dash. For Deathwing, we got the Dragon Soul here. And now with the shrines activating here in Dragonshire, we also have at the bottom of the map, as you can tell, the camps locked in very, very quickly. So this one, not contested by the red team, gets taken. And that sets us up for a bot lane push, just as the siege shrines are being taken out. With level 4, we have, ooh, look at that, sustaining rounds. Alright. He is going all in on this one. Yeah, definitely some adjustments. Not so sure that's gonna pan out for Jimmy in the long run, but he has 6 stacks. Normally it's really a late game thing. They have a lot of slows too that they could have used here. We get in the rhythm for Tychus, so already some plays being made on his side too. His build obviously changed, as we could see with the dash. Didn't go into that grenade build that we've seen previously that led into the Master Assassin as a level 4 talent. But right now, we got in rhythm and we got a Dragonite! Yeah, a bit of a freebie. Seems like Leo mistimed the top attempt to recapture. So Ugly Gary gets a very early Dragonite and is so far playing this the way that they should. And that means just playing around the Dragon's Breath. Move away, use the Dragon's Breath, try to keep the Dragonite alive for as long as possible, and just play with the cooldown. You're not going to get much more than that, but it will force the opponent to react to you. And it allows the rest of your team to pressure at different lanes. And this is exactly what we're seeing currently. So, they're coming down here at the bot lane. Dragonite this early is obviously not doing a ton of damage, but they're able to take the wall down, and that's pretty much the best that you can hope for here. And he's doing well. He's doing really good job with this. Now, he's going to lose it now, but he destroys the entire wall, and he took the all the minion waves down with the Dragon's Breath. So, great move by them. Doesn't set them heavily ahead here, but they destroyed 2 walls now. They had the 4-man at the bottom of the map that allowed them to take the wall, and in the middle it was the Dragonite. So this is structurally a very good spot to be in. One little disadvantage with the Dragonite going this early to the red team is that Tychus, who now picked Relentless Soldier as his level 7 talent, was able to stack up to 25 on his level 4. If you stack early with Tychus and you stack well, then that normally leads to you having a pretty crazy minigun duration in the later stages of the game, and that can help you a lot. So that's a little downside of what we're seeing here. Normally, if it's just small skirmishes, then Tychus has to be careful that he doesn't get focused and taken down. Usually he's a little bit slow on this. But right now, he's actually getting a lot. And oh my god, he's getting more than that, even if they kill him now. Sitting at 35, and he gets saved! Ah, and Jimmy takes him. Alright, Deathwing coming in. A big fight. Big fight, big kills. Dehaka is dead. Blue team gets a double kill and locks in the camp. Nicely done. So 2 kills to 2. Both teams lose 2 heroes, but the camp goes still to nothing else to do. So a pretty interesting one over here. Deathwing flying in definitely changed the momentum. But now we have 2 kills versus 2. We have 35 stacks for Tychus on his level 4, and we got 18 stacks for Jimmy on his level 1. We definitely have to keep our eye on both of them as the game continues here. It's hard to tell who walked away with the upper hand in this one. Camp taken by nothing else to do, but they were also the ones to attack this in the first place, so yeah. But they are really willing to risk a lot. I mean, they are hyper aggressive around all of this. Tychus now with 40 stacks already. Yeah, he should be able to do well in the later team fights. But Jimmy is also attempting to stack as best as he can. He goes up against the blind, of course, on the side of Jojo's. That is slowing him down a bit. But still could help a lot if he is getting to the late game. Because with Jimmy, you normally want to have like 60, 70 in the late game at least. And if he's getting to that point, then he's definitely packing a punch on this one. But either way, we get the Hyperion this time, alright? So, small adjustment. Hyperion is in. It is unfortunately the Riptire, as already theorized. Anything else would have shocked me. But it would have been pretty cool, honestly, if they would have tried to go for the Deathwing counter with this. Shout out to Deathwing, by the way, for going for proper skin here, not going for the turkey or the chicken skin. So good for him. But he's also getting punched out a little bit now. Everybody is going full pirate on us. Ult's getting used all over the place. Damage output, Jimmy's at 18,000, Junkrat at 20. Tychus at 10,000 only. 10,000! Outdone by Deathwing currently. And nearly outdone by Jojo, who's on 9,000. So yeah, not a lot from Tychus yet. There's the light bomb engage, and Tychus is not looking at a good position here. Nope. Gets booped around and taken down. Now he got a few more stacks for his level 1, but at this point I really got to question what he's going to be able to do here in the late game. Now we have 27 stacks for Jimmy, so he is also stacking this up a bit more. But with the Ford in the mid lane already damaged and the one at the bottom of the map down to 50%. Ugly Gary is looking alright. Ugly Gary is looking pretty okay. If they can take this one now, that would be big. And Arthur's, aka Jimmy, is still doing his thing here. 30 stacks for him. 7-minute mark. It's not bad. That's actually pretty alright. Yeah, as of course also a big target there on the other side. And they go again for the Dragonite. But this time they don't hold the bottom, or I would have expected the Haka, who just took the top shrine, to tunnel into the middle and try and grab it, but he couldn't make that work. So, yeah. 61 stacks. Tychus has a huge minigun duration. He definitely does. But I'm not sure if that's going to save him, because these Anubarak engages with the stun and then the follow-up with the light bomb are starting to be a real pain in the ass for Tychus. And Jimmy is of course stacking too, as we already said earlier. Is currently sitting at 33. They're trying to turn it again. And Tychus, they want him. So they got some stuns that they can use right there. Try to boop him out. Stun is in. Ancestral saves the day for him. But they are turning it quickly onto Jojo. And even Deathwing is getting a bit of damage pushed onto him, which immediately turns into a problem and forces him to retreat here. So as things are going on the scaling side, it seems that the red team is doing a little bit better, especially with the pressure against structures. Jimmy with the 29,000, nearly doubling what we have from Tychus, but again, the minigun duration is going to help him here. And yeah, you can already tell that Anubarak doesn't like that too much. Doesn't have a massive hit point pool, so it's not like he is Muradin or Diablo that gets chunked down here, but it's still annoying. Everybody's still stacking, looking for the late game, looking for these incremental advantages that allow you to pull ahead. Especially, of course, considering that with a few forts destroyed by the red team, the Winions would also slowly come into play here. So, by now, we got That's the Stuff. And another Dragonite. Once again, they were able to make it work. Up at the top, is Junkrat going to pay with his life? He stood on this a bit longer, and no fucking way. Alright, he dies. So Junkrat sacrificed himself to give them the Dragonite. Now they just gotta make sure that they at least get some value. Tychus with That's the Stuff on level 13. And we have him at 97 stacks. Look at this. He is at 104 stacks now. The Dragonite punted him away, or this would have gotten even worse. Jimmy is also stacking, but the amount of stacks for Tychus are just crazy. Now, he has a tough time getting proper damage out because he's a prime target and he's also getting attacked over and over and over again. But in these situations, he should be able to get mad minigun damage out. And yeah, they are really, really threatening Anubarak at this point. And Tychus, he is just stacking and stacking and stacking. And as the late game approaches, he is going to have like multiple seconds on this one. But they got to be careful of Jimmy. Jimmy is at 42 stacks. That's pretty good too. Jimmy has by now, they give me more on level 13. So both of the range damage dealer are doing well on their stacks. And we gotta keep an eye on them. Tychus, 23,000 damage. It's not really a whole lot. The main reason why he's also low on damage is, as I already said, they are diving on Tychus over and over and over again. But that allows others, of course, to get some damage through, and eventually he's going to have a huge minigun duration that should still help him to do work here. It all depends on whether or not all of these stuns connect. If Ugly Gary is able to get the CC train going on him, then he can stack all he wants, but at the end of the day, that's going to be a problem. And Jimmy's at 36,000. He's the top damage in the game right now. Blessed Shield thrown out already. They want the kill, they get the kill. Dehaka down. Dehaka is down. Riptire comes in. They try to go for Jojo, but a really nicely timed Iron Skin is preventing her from taking too much damage. Now, once again, pushing back out here. Late game could be nuts. The late game could be absolutely bonkers here. So up at the top, we got Leo still pushing this out. One fort has fallen. It's the only thing that has fallen so far in regards to structures. The mid lane has taken damage, but it's not gone. And another move by Junkrat that plays out against them. So yeah, they get the Hyperion out here, but they can't do anything about the camp. And Jimmy needs to be careful that he doesn't overdo it. So he's able to get the penetrating round out. That could have been a problem. But he's able to get a few more hits in. And then dives in a bit too far forward and nearly gets punished for it. Careful, buddy. Yeah, he is really towing the line here with those plays. The Haka against Leo at the top. Junkrat again with a bit of displacement. Nice focus. Can they get the kill here? Look at Deathwing. Deathwing is about to get deaded. Deathwing is going to turn into Deadwing any moment. They already got the cocoon out against Rhaegar. Junkrat to the front. Anubarak is dead, but they... No! Junkrat is dead. And Deathwing survives. Oh my god. Oh, Jimmy gets saved by Anduin, but holy shit. Check that one out. They really wanted him. First, it is Anubarak that gets taken down. Tychus is murdering it at this point. And then they also save Deathwing, but kill... It's insane. Kill Junkrat. Another Dragonite could be taken. Leo's on his way to the top. I think this time, yeah, this time he's there. We have 57 stacks now for Jimmy, and he went on level 16 into the Bounty Hunter with 150 stacks nearly for Tychus, who went straight into sizzling attacks as his level 7 choice. 16 choice. By now, we got Tychus on 35,000 damage, but Jimmy is just way surpassing him. Hyperion, of course, playing a bit of a role here too, but he's at 53,000 damage right now, and he is continuing the stacks. As does Tychus. Considering that Jimmy is up against the blind, this is even more impressive. Now, Deathwing is coming in. There's the light bomb, trying to get the stuns. No, Jojo in the back. Big engage from Deathwing. And Anduin, the crybaby, is down. The crybaby is down. I want my mommy. Well, he's gonna get his mommy. He's dead, so is she. United in death. 17 to 18. Nothing else to do is slowly pulling ahead in experience. And they can finally take a couple of structures. 60 stacks for Jimmy. I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough. Don't get me wrong, he's crushing it on the stacks. He's getting the damage out. But they're starting to lose these fights. And it's becoming a problem. Here comes another stun. They're diving in deep. They want a little bit more. Okay, Deathwing popping the ult. Dehaka! And he is alive. Dehaka is still alive. And Deathwing is in trouble. Jimmy wants to get close again, but he just can't bridge it. And now Leo is going to go for the Dragon Knight. Right there it is. Coming in, grabbing the DK. And off we go. The blue team, game number 7. They are trying to get some structures destroyed. The bottom fort has fallen. They're interested in dropping the one in the middle. Jimmy at 64 stacks. Tychus at 160. Both of them doing a great job on this. The damage in favor of Jimmy by a long shot. He once more gets punted away here as the blue team is looking for the fort in the middle of the map. They want to go for game. The best of 7 series is going the distance with this one. And even in game number 7, both of the teams are fighting for every single inch of the map. Dehaka trying to bridge the gap in experience a bit by staying topside and pushing for the fort. They're trying the best here. Jimmy with one hit after another is now at 62,000 damage. Odin gets popped. They want everything. Dehaka helping the top lane, but they need XP and they need it quickly. Hyperion is being used to push them back, and it's all about whether or not both teams can get to level 20 with the next objective here. Jojo hasn't fallen yet. Jimmy is at 68 stacks now. He is packing a punch. He's hurting them. He really is. The single target damage is there. But the team fights are still ending in favor of nothing else to do. The blue team, they want this one. 20 is in. Destroyers rampage. We get the Farseer's blessing once more. And after the level 1 talent, now the bob and weave is kicking in. But more important, of course, the buried alive. Of course, you got Anduin. Anduin, he is really so important in these battles. Whenever Leo drops an ult, Anduin needs to be there. And by now, we got level 20 approaching for Ugly Gary as well. They lost 2 of their forts, but the forts of the blue team are super low as well. They're not far behind. And with level 20, this could get now real juicy. I mean, real juicy. The 16 for Anduin was already a big game changer, and by now we got the Sergeant Pepper. Sergeant Pepper is in right here, and it's gonna get super wild now. Contagion is in. Not a single keep has fallen yet. So Jimmy, he's going deep on this one. Yeah, this is gonna get real crazy. This could go on for another 8-9 minutes. Cams are taken. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map. They're trying to steal this one too. And the shrines are up. Yeah, with the Sergeant Pepper, that's gonna get fairly interesting as the game continues. And of course we got the rewind for Nubarak. Let's not forget about that. So there's a lot more stuns there too. Jimmy. Okay, so they're zoning them away. 73 stacks. Jesus, he's going to murder. If this game continues, if this gets into the late game, he's going to murder. The big difference here is that Jimmy is going to get damage out quicker. Tigers with his stacks is going to have that high damage for longer. But that doesn't really help him if he gets stunned out, if he doesn't get the full duration through, if he has to disengage. But the more that Jimmy stacks here, the crazier his on-point damage gets. And then you are going to have a murder machine on your hands. He's a killer. He's an absolute killer. But he's also playing very aggressive. I mean, he's wild. He's way out there. Anduin is always trying to be close, but look at this. They're flanking him hard. They want him. They want him right there. Jimmy coming in, trying to get the damage. Nobody helping him right now. Pops his own E. They're trying to get the damage out. And the first one to fall is Tigers. Tigers is dead. 5 versus 4. Riptide is coming in. Gets denied, but they go for Jojo. They nearly get the kill there. And Jimmy's just firing away 80 stacks by now. Dehaka! And he's dead. Dehaka down. A 4 versus 4. Another engage right here. They're pushing them back once again. But they are re-engaging on Rhaegar. And it's also Leo that's a little bit in trouble, especially since Jimmy is slowly stutter-stepping his way forward. Look at that damage output. Jesus Christ. Junkrat jumping back out bot lane. They got to be careful there. Winions and Siege Giants. And Jimmy is at 87. 87 stacks now. Damage output 89,000. Way ahead of anybody else. Junkrat is second highest. They try to go for the Dragonite. Each team has lost one of their heroes. They keep at the bottom of the map. Somebody has to react to it. It might be the Haka, but it might also be too late. Jimmy again, hit after hit, 93,000. They get the Dragonite. The interrupt wasn't there. There was no interrupt. Jimmy has not died a single time. Not once. Not a single death on him. Dehaka needs to protect the bottom key before he tunnels in, and he's going to try to do exactly that. Reyna is going to hit the 6-digit club in a second or two. He's at 92 stacks now, and this game is not over. He's coming in with more damage, more pressure onto those single targets, forcing Leoric back. Dehaka at the bot lane, doing his thing. Riptire out, top side. Another fort about to fall. Dehaka can tunnel in whenever he wants, and a bit of an ass kicking for Tychus here as the Dragonite is going for the NFL tryouts for the punting team. Big Entomb! And Jimmy is dead for the first time! Big Entomb! He hit both of them. Anduin finally caught with the Entomb. This is an absolute game changer. What a massive Entomb here for the blue team. And this is a total disaster now for Ugly Gary. The entire game, Anduin was positioning mostly well, especially in regards to Jimmy, but now they are losing 2 of their most important heroes and nothing else to do. Smells blood in the water as they go for the bottom keep, and of course they want more here. They would love to go for the core at this point. They know that the late game is a problem, but there's the drag. God, good damage against Tigers. Can they force them back? Can they buy time? Jimmy's back in 18 seconds. 18 seconds for Jimmy. 5 on the core. The shield is slowly falling. Oh, what an entomb by Leo, but it's not enough to win them the game. It won them a key, but it doesn't win them the game. 6-digit club in damage for Jimmy. 101,000. They were able to save the day, though. They didn't lose the game yet. But boy, oh boy, what one entomb can do. One single buried alive that is perfectly placed, and all of a sudden the entire game flips. They have the Haka. The bot lane is still safe. As long as they are holding on to the Haka, the bot lane is still fine. They just need to make sure that he is going to push this out. But of course, they cannot allow nothing else to do to get a Dragonite. What an insane series. This is, I mean, honestly, the fact alone that we're in game number 7 is already incredible. It's nuts. And now in game 7, we have 22 minutes on the clock. It's a hyper late game with nearly 100 stacks for Jimmy's level 1. Nearly 200 stacks for Tyker's on level 4. And we still don't know who's going to win this. Yeah, you took down the bottom keep, but your opponent runs the Haka, and they just pushed this lane out completely. So here we are, once again, and it's all about whether or not they can control Jimmy. Anduin needs to really position properly here. But as long as the blue team isn't even trying to flank in here, they're just crushing this. I mean, the entire wall down here has pretty much been destroyed. One tower down, the gate about to fall. Now with the double control on the shrine, they are the ones that are threatening the Dragonite, which would be the third one for them, I believe. So they're going into the middle. They're trying to make this work. The channel is happening, and oh boy, that was clutch. That was close. That could have been a DK. They nearly mistimed this one. Yeah, Junkrat pushes himself back out, gets fairly heavily pushed out of the fight. The drag misses. Jimmy with the hits. The Haka has to move out. Jimmy on a rampage. 99 stacks. He's hitting 100. Dragonite is taken. They snuck the Dragonite in the middle of the fight. Jimmy is on 100 stacks. He's at the triple digits. Dragonite is in. Deathwing barely surviving, and Leo is dead. Leo is dead, and whoa, this could just be it. Big push at the top lane. Big minion push at the top of the map. Oh, Deathwing! He gets out. Deathwing gets out. They need to try and go for the... Look at the damage that the Dragonite does. It chunks that thing down. Bam, bam, bam. One after another. And the keep is gone. Top side, though, this is also a problem. They gotta decide what they want to do. Another keep, do they go for the core? Hyperion is not up. They don't have Hyperion, they're falling back. They're falling back. They don't want to fight this right now. They don't want to get too greedy here. But there's the hit. There's the hit with the epicenter. Coming in, trying to threaten Tychus and nearly getting the kill. But guys, they're losing the top lane. They didn't send anybody back, and they're losing the top lane. Can they get a kill and maybe go for the game? Riptire still doesn't kill Deathwing. The top lane keep is about to go, and they just lost the Nubarak too. They stayed once again too long. They tried too much. The top keep is gone. So is Anduin. The Crybaby is dead again. They had a chance to move back and save the keep. They didn't take it. Now they're trying to retreat here. Junkrat is dead. This looks like game. Jimmy, he is at 114 stacks, but he's not going to be able to win the game for them. 132,000 damage for Jimmy. Reyna murdered, but it was not enough. Ugly Gary is going to drop out of the tournament. The Haka, the lone survivor, the catapults alone are going to chunk it down now. This is game. There's no denying it anymore. There's no other conclusion here. Nothing else to do. They win the best of 7 series in the losers bracket against Ugly Gary and move on to the next round of the tournament, to the next round of the Skyline Cup. Dragonshy is theirs, and so is the best of 7. GG, well played as they get the W.